All right, here we go. We got Gerace and Matt. We're gonna do a little draft review, league review for the Yahoo Griffey Hates the Yankees. Matt's second favorite team league name. Um, but we figured we will start off with a little description of the league format and rules, and I can go over some of the basics, and you guys take it from there. But we're 12 teams, four keepers. I believe it's round six and beyond that we can keep. Does that sound correct?
Correct.
All right.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
each player moves up around if you choose to keep them, and then we're categories league, head to head categories, one match per week, and anything else I miss in there? Our categories
Yep.
are a little bit different than some, like the standard.
Yeah, it's not like one win, one loss per week.
Right.
It's you get a
Cumulative.
win or a loss for every category.
Right.
You
Do you guys
win.
like
So
that better than like the standard like football way?
I, I
I do.
do.
I do
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I didn't at first. But I think that, I think it's a more even, truthful way, long
Yeah.
term,
Because I
Yeah,
mean, we used to be I mean, I don't remember when we changed. We used to be the 1-0 or whatever, which is fine, but I mean, there's a big difference if you win 7-6 than if you win like 12-2. So it's like good to
100%.
Yeah.
that it's capturing all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know
Five.
Loch likes to bitch about not being points because he wants to win because he has 15 homers in a week or
Right.
whatever. But I mean, I think we all think that percentages are a big part of baseball. So that, I mean, that's, I think, why we want to avoid points.
Yeah.
But at least, like, if we're saying how many categories you want and we're capturing that, I mean, I think we do a good job that if you're solidly defeating someone versus like squeaking something out.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and I know that a lot of like the full-on fantasy baseball traditionalists don't really like categories, and they prefer points, or they prefer roto. Roto's obviously kind of the OG and still the king for a lot, but I think that roto is a little heavier for most people to like really get into, because you have to be pretty much a nerd to really appreciate the baseball.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it's a long season,
I
Um,
I mean,
yeah, good.
I mean, I do think Roto does a better job at lifting up the best teams.
Yeah,
Especially, I mean, if you're head to head and you get in the playoffs and you have a bad week, you're not winning, but you
yep,
might have the best team. Um, yeah, the Roto for the league like this probably wouldn't work because I mean they pay enough attention, but probably not. They pay
right,
attention, but probably not enough attention for a Roto league where you really
yeah.
need to be like focused.
Agreed. And someone put it, the I never thought of it this way, but it does make sense as soon as it was said, that this is a more common football scoring system, right? Head to head, you face one person, you get wins or losses each week. And obviously that is a little different for us, but the head to head approach is more of a originally a football thing compared to a baseball thing, but it's something more people are familiar with, and so it works, But
Yeah.
as far as our categories, I think we have a couple different ones in there, and I brought up this year that at what point do we eliminate complete games and shutouts? And I think that's always an interesting topic, because while we still can get some, sometimes they're a little bit cheesy if it's like a shortened game, rain out, or I don't think they're doing it anymore, but they were doing like the double headers, and they were seven inning games,
Mm.
and so those were kind of cheesy. But it definitely is a huge boost if you get one of those complete games or shutouts, because in our lifetime, nonetheless, like in the history of baseball, we've seen those stats like decrease tremendously. Where if a guy has two complete games in a season, that's amazing. And probably Doc Holliday was probably the last one to actually be a consistent contributor to that category. But what do you guys feel? You guys okay with that
Oh,
category?
just Justin Verlander was probably the last one.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah,
Scherzer.
Holiday and Verlander are like the last two big guys that really like dominated complete games. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's kind of a worthless stat now. Um, and yeah, this is the only other league I think where we don't use on base percentage. We go with OPS, right?
OPS. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That one's
but
tricky.
yeah. But yeah, again, what do you fill it with for the pitching thing if we get rid of complete game shutouts? That's another
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
Yeah.
to look at.
No, it's true. And I think hitting's pretty straightforward as far as our categories, again, outside of OPS. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
league structure is pretty.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, I do think it did serve a purpose way back when they actually happened. But yeah, I mean, they can like if you get lucky and you have one week, it can give you an advantage. But I mean, of course, I loved it back in the day when I had like super ace
Doc
pitchers,
Holliday.
and I
Yeah.
had, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think I had like Verlander and Greinke and
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
someone else that would get a lot of complete game shutouts
Yeah.
way back in the day. But yeah, it just doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
Definitely.
OPS, I love the OPS piece. I mean, I think that's one of the most important stats in
Pref-
baseball.
Preferred over OBP.
I would prefer if we took batting average out and replaced it with OBP,
Yeah.
and then keep
Yeah.
OPS, because then at least you're getting the slugging part, unless you take OPS out and put slugging. But I think it's an important component, because you're not just getting somebody getting in base, but also what their worth is and when they actually hit the ball and how they hit it.
Yeah.
That's why I mean I like OPS, but I think maybe like batting average should I definitely like OBP better than batting average, because like who
Yeah.
cares?
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Like they say in
Batting average
Moneyball,
is
who
like
cares if it's a hit or a single?
right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I definitely think that batting average is a antiquated stat, especially for what we're doing. But yeah, I honestly kind of forget that we run both here, that we run average and OPS. I knew that it's OPS, and I always consider now that most leagues would just be OBP, but it doesn't make sense to do both. So yeah, you're probably right. I mean, in a perfect world, maybe we get rid of I don't know, average and shutouts or complete games, or I don't know, keep them both and
Right.
just get rid of average. But
Yeah.
I think the other tricky parts, and maybe not for everyone, but it's been a hot topic, especially Gerace with you and I. But we have 25 pickups per year, and the hard part is it's only 2 per week. So that made for a challenging stretch in the first opening day, where we had 2 games in Japan a week before the opening day, and then opening days Thursday through Sunday, and then we have a whole full week. And so basically 3 weeks of real life time allowed us 2 pickups, and you never know who's going to get hurt in spring training, and so on and so forth. So that's challenging with only 2 guys. But I would say, like, we started talking about this before we hit record here, but do you guys have a preference of like waiver systems? And I made it very clear, like I just think that the fab systems are far superior. And however you set them up, if you set them up once a week, if you set them up, a couple times a week. I know in Die Yankees League we have it 3 times a week. And probably a lot of people would say that's excessive. But the reason why I think that's most fair is because it doesn't matter what time you find out the news or how quickly you can get to the computer. We know that every, whatever, in this case, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you have an opportunity to bid for the guy, rather than you wake up first or you're up late and you get to find the news that so and so's hurt and this is a replacement. And that portion I just find is kind of, I just say cheesy. I don't know. It just doesn't, it's not a very strategic way. It's more just luck. Whereas at least if you have opportunity to bid for someone, now you have to consider, is anyone else interested, and how much can it be or should it be? And how much do I have left? How much do I really want the guy? Thoughts?
Yeah. I could see the cheesiness of, being the first guy to just get to his computer and pick up a guy. But on the same side though, like how often does that really happen?
It
Who's
happened to me
stealing
today, motherfucker.
who Mackenzie Gore? Are you really
I
gonna win
know.
the league because
I
of
get
Mackenzie
it.
Gore?
I get it. No,
Just
I
wake
mean,
up
Well,
earlier.
the other thing with
right.
the other thing with this league that makes it so unique is that the rosters are so tight. There's no stashing of players. Forget that. You can't
Yeah,
in all these other leagues, we draft a bunch of minor league guys and we expect them to come up. You really can't do that in this league because the rosters, there's just no.
it's a very shallow rostered league. Yeah,
Yeah. So that makes up for the waivers are plentiful. So you can always just jump on and, balance that out by grabbing a guy, because there's probably like 3 other Mackenzie Gores that you could pick up today.
right. True.
You know what I'm saying? So I think
Yeah,
that is one of the unique characteristics of this league. So I don't really mind that there's just open, waivers. Yeah, and we try to police it as much as we can. You can only do 2 a week. Well, we do, like you said, 25 per year or something like that, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that kind of evens it out, I think.
Yeah.
I
And
I know the original intent in that is basically to put more focus on the draft, and I get that. I'm always for that. I just feel that like times have changed a lot, especially, in every sport, I'm sure, but like in basketball, let's say there's more load management, so but in baseball, they tend to put the guys on the IL just to give them a break, even if especially if it's young guys, or they'll send them down. So I feel that, and Gerace and I were talking about this point in the league chat, as far as like, potentially changing that rule at some point, is that the worst thing one could have for league health is not to be able to fill like starting lineups, and so in the case where you're limited with 2 guys per week and you happen to have more guys go down that week, then that part kind of sucks, but
yeah, that's tough with the there's only 5 IL spots. I know you guys are hurting a lot more than my team now, but yeah, that's kind of tough, because then you're kind of opening up the ILs. People could stash some players,
right.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I'm fine. I mean, I'm fine with the IL being tight. I mean, it's already, like you said, Matt, a tight like roster. I don't mind that, as long as we have enough transactions to replace our injured player. We can decide whether to drop, who to drop, and who to stash on the IL. I mean, I think my problem is just like not being able to, like I've been playing. We have 24 active players, and I've been playing in the like 21, 20 active players area since the beginning.
That's crazy.
So that's where like I just can't. They keep going down faster than I can replace them because of the 2 transactions a week. Fab, I mean, I'm fine with Fab. My only, and I think it does make sense in a lot of areas. My only problem with Fab, I guess, depending on how it is sometimes you need a player that day, and you can't like wait a couple days to get someone if somebody goes down and you need to get somebody in your lineup. So sometimes you need, I mean, maybe there's a happy medium, whether it's with dollars or maybe it's waivers, but I mean, I'm sure we could do like daily waivers that go through at like 12 p.m. or 11 a.m. every day or whatever. So you don't have to be the first one on. You just need to have that right waiver priority, or if we did dollars, the right dollar amount. As long as I mean, I think I like more being able to do it all like every day during the week to just in case like something happens that day, and then you don't have to wait a couple days just to see, like, or if you put in for somebody but somebody else is ahead of you and they get them, and then you gotta wait another couple days to maybe get someone if you don't like fill it up, to say, okay, in case I don't get this guy, I'm gonna also go for this person and then also go for this person. Sometimes you don't get those people, and then you gotta wait like a couple more days,
a full week or something.
Right.
So that part's
maybe
definitely
if it's more like daily waivers or daily fab, except for weekends. I hate
I agree with
I hate weekend ads.
I do too. And I think that's like for me personally, with like trying to find the perfect balance in the Fantrax Yankees League, was I didn't particularly like the 1 a week ads, as most leagues run. Like, if you're jumping into like a paid league, that's how like most of the pro leagues are. They run them on Sunday night or Monday morning, and I think that's too little, especially for all the same reasons you just said. I felt daily was almost a little bit too much when you have people bidding, because then I just feel like you cheapen the bids a little bit, where it's already 3 times a week already cheapens the bids enough where you're getting guys for $1, $2. There's not as much bidding. So the less you have them, the more it increases the option to kind of bid against each other, which is part of the purpose. But you risk that issue, like you might not get the player and you're sitting for a couple days, but sitting for a couple days is better than sitting for a week. But it's there's never a perfect system. It's just what's closer to better. What else? Anything else we missed in there?
Well, I think we filled out the league format, and I just want to touch on how chaotic and insane the draft is.
Yeah,
because
this one in particular.
Absolutely.
Yeah, bizarre world.
You have a minute and 30 seconds to make your pick, which is fine for me. I'm ready to go. But at the same time, like, there's no pausing of the draft. And quite honestly, sometimes you're distracted by some of the picks that go on, and you're like, really, did that person just get drafted? And I don't know. I just thought it was just a very odd draft. It's definitely the oddest draft out of all of the leagues that I'm in.
I agree.
Right.
Yeah. For better or for worse. Yeah. It's chaotic. It's quick. I mean, I don't
appreciate
mind
the efficiency, and like we're done in like
and you're lucky, Matt.
maybe?
You're not in person for all the chaos.
Oh, God.
Thank
You
God.
you can control some of the volume and random weirdness that happens. But it's also I guess part of the lore in some way. But yeah, it's definitely strange, especially when you have like comparative, options.
Yeah.
Though, I mean, the weirdest thing to me, and maybe this isn't like part of the weird things for you, is like you'll be in the first round and like it's the first pick and it will go like a minute and 30 seconds.
Yeah, I know.
Well, to be fair, in this particular year, I think that was because Loch was asking them to slow it up, since Matt was trying to get back from work,
Gotcha.
catch up.
Right,
So we were trying to slow roll since you can't fucking pause it.
Right.
Yeah,
Apparently.
In general, though, I mean, that seems to always
Right.
happen. Like you get your
true.
people that always go a minute 30, no matter like what round it is.
Yeah.
But
I got two important things. First is this. There we go. Now I can actually start talking properly.
There you go.
But I think the hard part that we have here is right is that so just combining linking our schedules together and finding time that we could do this and not take away from other things. We're a couple weeks into the season, and so we have this weird, viewpoint where we can have we have history with some of these players, and so that I think it challenges us a little bit to be, have our bias not so biased,
Yeah.
and at the same time, also understand that like for me the weird part of the draft is like if you guys hit upon it earlier is that everyone follows this sport a little bit differently, and the three of us are in 3 leagues together, and then JP and Johnson's in it one with us, so everyone has different levels of it, but you know I feel that most people, half the people in this league, don't follow baseball as much, and that's okay because it's the equivalent of like me being in a football league anymore. I don't really follow it, so I would have to go strictly by ADP. Like who's on that list, who's that person. I'm going to go by that. But the funny thing is, and I'm trying to tie this into what was hilarious about being at the draft, is that I think it was at the end of the second round, I heard someone go, "I don't even know who these players are," and there we are, right after the second round. So that makes it interesting. But you know what? Again, like if I'm more likely, as much as I like hockey, I only follow the Flyers.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't used to do that. So every year that I've been asked to possibly take over someone's team in hockey, like Loch puts those feelers out, I'd say I would be worthless because I would have to do exactly that. Like I sometimes know the players, but I would be awful at fantasy hockey because I don't know the players. Unless they play the Flyers, I don't really know them. So again, it's no one's fault. I'm just trying to point out like some of the odd things. We're all baseball nerds and follow it probably too closely, and that's okay too.
True.
Yeah. Anyway, so why don't we chat about our keepers real quick? We'll jump into some other keepers. Why don't we start on the screen, at least from what I see, top to bottom. Matt, who'd you come in keeping this year? And if you know the rounds, that'd be awesome too.
Yeah. So my keepers coming in, I knew I had like 2 strong ones, I thought, although they're sucking right now, but George Kirby in the 6th and Trey Turner in the 13th. Those are like my 2 locked in. They're starting. I don't have to worry about.
Yeah.
I had Josh Young in the 17th round. Wasn't really sure about like if, health-wise, if he was going to be starting opening day. And then Jackson Churio I got in the 23rd round. Again, this was probably before he got I think before he got the contract and got the nod that he's starting opening day.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love the Josh Young, just that late in general, having a third baseman just sucks. Like obviously what happened, you wouldn't expect him to be down, but at least he's still, he'll be back before season's end for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Eloy Jimenez was also an option there, but I rolled the dice with Young.
Yeah, you finally gave up on Eloy.
Eloy, he's in the
and I took over your problem.
Yeah.
That's cool. Gerace, who'd you come?
Those are mine.
All right, nice. Yeah. Who'd you come in with, Gerace?
So the way I drafted this year was almost like a rebuilding of keepers. Not that my keepers are bad. I mean, I have one center stone in Julio Rodriguez in the 20th round. So that one's good. I have Vlad in the 12th round. But the way I usually approach keepers is once they start in single digits, like I don't really want them anymore. Like I like getting keepers way back in the league, way back in the draft, and try to get that value you get as far as how many rounds that from where they would originally get drafted that do you get to keep them. So once they get into single digits, so I usually like to avoid that. So that's why I also kept Nolan Gorman in the 22nd round. He's got a lot of promise. Not he had a decent year. He had a good first half of the year, let's say. Like everything was clicking. He had decent average. He was hitting a lot of homers, and he wound up with
A lot of home
27.
runs. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he still wound up with decent, but still maybe not quite keeper material. But since he was late, I kept him, and then I kept Logan Webb in the 6th round, which is
Pushing you weren't happy about that one.
right.
I like
But
that, but I get it. Yeah.
but it's pitching, and
Right.
yeah, I mean, I usually like to draft my pitchers, not keep them anymore. But it's hard when a lot of people are keeping pitchers now. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm with you,
True.
man. And I'm 100% with you on it's all keepers are all about value,
Yeah.
and it's hard. I mean, sometimes you have those tough choices. One of the keepers I had was, and it was like my last and final decision. I had Riley Green, who I kept in the 10th, and I like Riley Green, but he's still a lot of unknown. So he probably would get drafted around the 8th to 10th round anyway. So I knew there wasn't much value there. But the other options were, I think, more unknown. Like I had Ricky Tiedemann, who I like, but it was really late, and I just felt that like outfielder is really thin. I'll take a solid outfielder who has upside. But so it's a fine balance of trying to find that value in the draft. And even still, I'm not a huge Gleyber Torres fan, but I kept him in the 8th. And again, just looking at like the second baseman, it's a thin position. I think Gorman falls in the top 10 if I had to guess like correctly in like the pre draft rankings. And I know Gleyber Torres is in that top 5-ish range in second baseman. So getting him in the 8th round, I felt was a little bit of value, but not that great. Bichette in the 7th, it was great when he was 10th and 11th, but now he's 7th. Still good. I still think he's probably a 2nd or 3rd round pick. And then Witt at the 15th is like your Julio and Matt Churio. Yeah, I mean he's a top few pick overall. So
a no-brainer.
Yeah, but I too like came in with, okay, like there's a couple guys I wouldn't mind replacing, namely Green I'd be open to, and Torres would be open to. Bichette would have to be a pretty impressive pull draft wise or trade wise to go and replace. But I definitely took some shots in the draft to at least potentially replace those guys.
Yeah. And I think I had a decision over. I think it was between Nolan Gorman and Logan Gilbert.
What round was Gilbert?
So, but I got Gilbert anyway. I got him in the 4th round. I would have kept him in the 8th round. So that's where. So it was 4 rounds. I mean, so I was debating over it, but if I drafted Gorman, it probably would have been around like anywhere from the 8th to 10th round.
Right. So you got 12 rounds of value basically. Yeah, I agree with that.
And I wound up getting Gilbert at least in this draft. Matt got him in the one league right before me. I was an idiot for taking Goldschmidt instead of Gilbert there. But I thought he'd get back to me.
It happens. Matt, you had a couple teams that you really liked keeper wise, and I forget if you said you really didn't like, but what do you have as strong keepers that were guys at teams that were coming in?
Well, yeah, I thought like 2 teams probably stood out. They're probably like my favorites when we do if we do bold predictions. But I think the Pie Tasters had the best keepers coming in.
Okay.
And I didn't write down the rounds for these guys, but you get the deal. I mean, Marcus Semien, O'Neal Cruz, Francisco Alvarez, and Austin Riley.
Yeah, all pretty late. Like, cause I know, like glancing through these, like Austin Riley, for example, was a 19th round. Which is pretty insane. And real quick, I can tell you really fast. I don't want to take too much time on it, but I too thought he had some great value. Alvarez was in the 15th. O'Neal Cruz was in the 11th. And Marcus Semien, this is his last year, is in the 5th.
In the 5th,
yeah.
That's just a good core. Your infield's almost pretty much wrapped up.
Yep.
I like those guys a lot. I thought Ryan had really good keepers as well. He had Fernando Tatis, Ellie De La Cruz, Adley Rutschman, and soon to be very healthy Walker Buehler.
But we'll see about that. He had a tough call because I know he had Buehler and another decision. I just can't remember off the top of my head, but I remember him, talking to me about it. But but no, that's incredible. So especially the value there. He had Rutschman in the 20th. He had De La Cruz in the 18th and Tatis in the 16th.
Yeah, I mean that's just Walker Buehler aside. Those 3 alone are really solid.
I agree.
After that, we get to Sean Johnson. I thought he had some good keepers: Corey Seager, Zach Gallen, Adolis Garcia, and Nico Horner.
Yep. Yeah.
Um,
So Seager 5th round last year, he can keep him. Gallen 8th round. Horner 17th, and Adelise in the 18th.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
those were pretty solid.
I agree.
Let me see. I would have to say Walking Dead is probably like up there as well with Freddie Peralta, Pablo Lopez, C.J. Abrams, and Justin Turner.
Yeah, well, that one we can leave off, but yeah, I got you.
Right.
Yeah, well, I mean Turner 19th round, Abrams, Gerace's boy 16th round, Pablo 13th, and Freddie the 11th.
Yeah. And Utley's F-bomber is the last one. They would have killed it if Ohtani could pitch this year. I know Gossman's kind of going through his issues, but I mean, as a keeper, that's a solid keeper. And then Pete Alonso and Aaron Judge, 2 solid keepers right there. And then you got to just keep Ohtani as a keeper for the whole season.
Yeah.
Are they gonna pitch him again? Like
I
know they're taking him off because of injury, but
yeah.
I mean, the plan is definitely pitching. They paid him
stacked, like that pitching staff's so stacked.
I know.
Don't you just want to just say, all right, go out and hit like the way he hits?
I think they paid him to be 2-way. They'll probably go to 6-man because they've been doing that anyway.
Yeah. And like, how many Dodger pitchers are really panning out? Dustin May, Julio Urias, even like a lot of the other guys that are kind of coming up. Gavin Stone's not really panning out.
Yeah.
They're either hurt or they're just not pitching well. I mean, Bobby Miller's an exception, but again, he's still his 2nd real year, and
it's definitely a lot to put on them.
Yeah. So I mean, if he can pitch well and produce, I think they'll throw him back out there.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's essentially going back to it. Like they paid him to be a 2-way player. So
and who knows what Walker Buehler turns out to be too.
Or maybe. I mean, I know it was a large chunk of change, but I mean, somebody that hits the ball the way he does will. I mean, if Aaron Judge was out there, he's not going to get something close to that. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I guess we'll see it this year with like Soto. What's he going to be in the open market this year? I mean, he's going to be young. He's going to be a huge like marketing draw, not as much as Shohei, but so let's say he tacked on 10 to 15 million more because he can pitch. I don't know, but yeah. But yeah, I mean, they're solid keepers though. You got Alonso in the 9th, Gosman in the 7th, Shohei in the 14th, and who was his other one there?
Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge in the 11th. Yeah.
I like those. Solid. That's a good core for those guys.
Yeah. Anyone you want to make fun of?
That's okay. If not. That's the best part.
I think everybody pretty much has really decent keepers, but I thought those guys were like the upper echelon.
Yeah. No, I can see that. Yeah. I think that's a great start. Why don't we spend a little time? We'll kind of go through the rounds, see if anything that really sticks out. Anything that doesn't, you guys can move us at whatever pace you feel comfortable with. I wrote down a list of a bunch of guys that I thought were great picks and not so great picks, and yada yada yada. I think you guys kind of did the same, but kind of starting us off right. Like the first round, I don't really think we had to spend much time with. Right, it kind of fell exactly as ADP. Am I correct?
Yeah.
No surprises. I mean, in hindsight, again, this is where like we look back at it, like we can now have like some different viewpoints than we would have 2-3 weeks ago. But obviously, had I known Spencer Strider goes down, I don't take him 9th overall. But that's that's a risky take. It's a huge loss. I did not expect him to fall to me there. And I wasn't necessarily looking to draft him, but I felt like I couldn't pass on him there.
I would say
I don't know about you guys, but like I take a lot more chances in this draft, and like just taking guys like because we're, like you said, we're in so many leagues together. It's not that I don't take this draft serious or anything like that, but it's just almost like obviously I would have probably gone Strider over Harper, or even Matt Olson or Jordan. But I don't know. I kind of just go with the guys that I kind of like and lot more flexible just in this draft. Are you guys the same way or no?
Yeah, I'm probably more loose in this one for sure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always, and I was going to point out Harper there because I think that was the most surprising. Not that it's bad. I love Harper. I think he's great. But just based on where everybody's ranked or whatever. So a lot of these people that got picked behind were ranked higher, but I think you always got to get the guys that you love. And
Matt's
it's
got a
not just
boner
this.
for Harper. Yeah.
What's that?
Matt's got a boner for Harper.
I know he does. He won't trade him in the other league at all.
I like
no,
Juan Soto better. I'm just throwing that out there.
not in that league. But no, I think you got to get the guys you love. And I have this philosophy not just here, but in all the leagues. Don't care what anybody else thinks of them. Don't care where everybody else ranks them. Get the guys that you're sure of and you love, even if you think it's a round or two ahead of where they would go. You don't know. Somebody else might like them. Don't get unsatisfied that somebody else picked them and then you're picking somebody that you don't really like.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's funny too, like you have guys that are in that wheelhouse. So for me, looking in the first round, I kind of was hoping like Matt Olson would fall or Freddie Freeman. Obviously they didn't, and that's expected. And so when it sat there, I know that I'm looking at like Jose Ramirez, who I really liked, and Rafael Devers. And then I like all those pitchers that went, but obviously Strider pretty much being ranked 101 as far as pitchers go across every site that you see as far as pre-draft rankings. I figured, you know what, I'll go with him and hope one of these guys falls. And sure enough, I get Devers in a second, so I was happy about that. But second round, anything that sticks out to you guys, like good or bad? I mean, I have one, maybe two that I see, but anything that sticks out to you?
I got one. I mean, I thought the wraparound at the end of the second round into the third round, the Cleveland Indians made some odd picks, not bad picks, because obviously Steele, you can't predict that he was going to get hurt. Marcell Ozuna is playing like he's a first round pick right now.
He's playing great, yeah.
And look at his numbers last year. I mean, the guy, he produces, so it's not a horrible pick. Going over, especially you see the guys that he was taking over, like Mike Trout,
right?
Alex Bregman, some of these other guys, a lot of good pitching. I just thought those two were the weirdest picks.
Me too.
Yeah.
I thought exactly that wraparound. I thought the combination of, almost these four picks: Bellinger, Steele, Ozuna, Real Muto. And it's not that I dislike all those players. I don't particularly like Ozuna, but I think that's more than just baseball seeping in from my viewpoint. And that's whatever. But he's a guy I just never want a piece of. But yeah, you're right. Like production, stat wise, you can't argue against it. Bellinger, I like, and again, like maybe I'm just a little bit sour because in other leagues I had him late and I fucking then didn't keep him. He had a great year last year, but I just look at him as like, what's his upside? I guess his upside is MVP, but do we expect him to reach out again? I mean, he's like, I don't know. I just feel like there's guys like if I was to go back into like round 6. I feel like there's outfielders there that are comparable. Teoscar, Brian Reynolds, those guys, I guess specifically that like to me, I just feel like they're, but so that to me, that pick stood out a little bit. Justin Steele, I do like, but I just feel again, like, scroll down to that 6th round again, is he better than Bieber or Ryan or, I know
now he's better than Bieber.
Now he's better than Bieber, right? Or Blake Snell, last year's MVP winner. Like it just, I like Steele, and he's but those two are weird. And then Real Muto, I love Real Muto as like a real catcher. I do like him. I just feel like in a one catcher league, we're gonna find so much value in catchers here. And one of my favorite picks is Matt's pick in the last round. Who I just don't know. Going back to what you were saying, Gerace, with value in picks, that's what it's all about. And so it's not that I dislike Real Muto. I love Real Muto. I just feel that like there, in
a league like this, and one catcher league with that you don't need that has short rosters. You don't need to take catcher that early.
Yeah,
like he's got to be like an absolute stud. That's like you don't care that he's a catcher. You'd pick him there if he was a first baseman.
Right. Like Real Muto 3 years ago or Piazza in the old days.
Right, exactly. But yeah, I think it's I'm not a catcher snob. I think if you could take catchers that are a lot better than the other catchers that have great value, but like uh, I mean, I think there's plenty of other catchers that you could have
Yeah,
just waited for.
Yeah,
yeah.
you guys stole my thunder on that. I was gonna for like worst pick, I was gonna put any catcher selected early.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Real Muto was definitely like yeah, for all the reasons you guys
Yeah.
said. The catcher was just so deep this year, and yeah, we're only
So
starting
deep.
one catcher. You definitely could have punted on
Yep.
catcher.
As you did, and that your pick was one of my favorite ones. We'll get to.
So second round, yeah, Bellinger. I think Bellinger was the worst pick of that draft because I just don't think there's upside there. I mean, I think at best he's going to be
The same
a
player.
starter or yeah, like a replacement level. Like I think yeah, there's a lot better outfitters that I like that went after him.
Right.
But also oddly, Yamamoto, where like that's I don't think he's going to be bad, but that's kind of an odd play. I mean, you picked him ahead of Luis Castillo. I mean, even Steele, Nola, Max, like it just seems it's hard. I mean, it's a question mark. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, he's a good play. I mean, he's probably going to be a good player, but you don't know what he is coming into the league.
Yeah. I don't have a problem there only based off of like because of that we didn't know what he was. We all had to kind of go off the rankings that were provided by the quote unquote professionals, the people that were paid to create rankings. I mean, I assume paid to some degree. So like a lot of people had him in the top 10. A lot of people had him over those guys. So, but he's risky. And like and we're seeing that now. But and then
Did they have him over Castillo though?
yeah, I'm not sure.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
But I mean,
I don't see. Maybe it's just my philosophy. I don't take home run swings at the beginning of the draft. I take them later in the draft.
right.
You're screwing yourself if in your first 3 rounds you're picking risky players and you're not getting like people that
I
should be
can
quicker.
understand that. Yeah, I can understand that. But yeah, it's definitely a little bit risk. I think anyone took Yamamoto this year was definitely a little bit of risk.
Yeah.
We talked about this I think at some point before in some capacity that the thing that we can't appreciate with these athletes that like they are human. Like he's coming over from a different country, different language. He's moving to a new place. He has to figure out all the basic things. Like if we just moved from here to Cleveland, it would affect everything in our lives. And he's moving from Japan to New York or LA. I'm sorry and different baseball, different teammates, all those things. So yeah, there's a lot to figure out. But I don't have a problem with that there, but I can understand the rationale. Anything in the third round stick out to you guys? Maybe besides the fact that I love the guy you took, Gerace, but that fucker lasted 2 at bats.
It's a different injury. I know. It's annoying, but I mean, you got. He's had some injury problems, but like based on
that's an understatement, my friend.
He could be a top 5 pick if he stayed healthy. Now I know that's a big if, but I mean he was healthy the whole second half of the year. You're not so who knows? I mean,
he's like the Greg Oden of baseball. He's like the Greg Oden of baseball. Yeah,
I don't think. I mean, he's still young. I don't think it's quite that bad. I mean, he's still young. There's plenty of young player like. Matt took Harper in the first round. How hurt was Harper early in his career? Like
not as hurt as Royce Lewis, but no, I like Royce Lewis there, and I definitely would have taken him. I don't know why I didn't take him there. I took a guy who is probably a riskier pick. So I have to vote myself as that's probably the worst pick of the round if I had to take it.
No, I don't think so.
Nah. Real Muto is the worst, but
okay,
yours isn't too far behind.
Yeah.
It's early, Jeff.
Well,
Nolan Jones
I think
will be better than he's been.
I just think it ties into like just to be critical, like and tie into what you were saying is that like at what point do you take swings in the draft, and it's a combination of like what Matt was saying, like this is a draft, maybe you can take more swings, but and that's kind of what I did. I took a guy that hey maybe he's 30-30, but I mean just to criticize myself, like do I like him? In a if you put him in a bin and I had to only pick one at no draft round, would I take Nolan Jones or Brian Reynolds, who I got 3 rounds later? Nolan Jones or Teoscar Hernandez. So like that's the kind of at least criticism I'm willing to heap upon myself.
And to Gerace's credit, I mean Lewis was he was teed up to have a big season. This is his time to like shine. He's healthy. And then just shit happens, You can't really
I agree.
predict it.
No,
So
yeah,
if you're taking
100%.
a risk, in the third round on a guy like that, I think it's safer than going on the first 2 picks anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And
Fair enough.
and who knows? It's a different injury, so at least it's not like a recurring injury. There, I'd be more concerned.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I agree. Fourth round. Anything you love? Anything you hate?
This is what I wrote down. I love Logan Gilbert, Tristan
too.
Casas. I was surprised he
Thank you.
lasted out there. Where I was going with that round.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like the Logan Gilbert and the Casas picks. I hate the Castellanos pick. I'm sorry,
too.
You're picking on
Miraz. I
Vince
feel
a
like I'm
lot.
picking on Miraz, but it's
We're
nothing
not. It's not
personal.
personal. Nothing
I know.
personal.
Yeah.
No,
If
I
you
know.
listen to
it's
any of
not-
the other
it's not.
podcasts, I hated Nick
No,
Castellanos.
you did. You guys were giving Harris some shit about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know
Yeah.
it has nothing to do with Miraz.
I agree 100% with you. I don't like the Castellanos pick there either, and I get it. Like Philly, like any, if we drafted in New York, there'd be a higher percentage of New York players taken, and here the Philly players are going to be hyped up a little bit. But I just don't understand how you take Castellanos there. And again, I'll just pick 2 rounds later. How do you take Castellanos over Brian Reynolds? It's whatever, and we can go deeper in the draft and find guys like Suzuki. I would much rather have Suzuki 3 rounds later than Castellanos. But my preference.
I really like Yelich there. I mean I know.
Yeah,
well,
I do too.
You, Jeff, have old man bias, but I don't know. I think I think he could still hit. I mean, his power has gone down a little bit over the past couple of years. He's starting to show it again this year.
He had a great year last year, though.
No, but,
yeah, but he had a great year last year.
Yeah,
that is the risk, right? You're worried about players like him and Trout. You're worried about their specific things, their backs, their hamstrings, whatever it may be that keeps coming up. But I mean, he had a great year. He's a great hitter. I like that pick too.
He stole a lot of bases last year too. That was the thing that really stood out for me.
Yeah, he was a 2020 guy.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple solid picks in there. I do like the value that Bogarts brings there. I think he's kind of underrated. McLean, I know he's hurt, but I think that was a solid pick at the time. I love the Gilbert pick because again, compare Gilbert's stat to Zach Wheeler's stats, and Wheeler is picked in the first round. So I think that's a great pick. I don't particularly like the Jake Berger pick there. I'm gonna pick on who is Cleveland anyway. That's Barada. Yeah, so I'm gonna pick on him again. And not nothing personal. And it's not that I dislike Jake Berger. He was on my list, just not there.
Too early.
Too early, right? Especially for just what he does and how unproven he is, but I think jumping into the next round, and I apologize if you guys have anything to say left about the fourth, but like the next round, the first thing that stuck out to me was how the hell was Chris Bassett taken in the 5th round over Bobby Miller, and then name any pitcher in the next 3 rounds. Like that pick is just god awful. Now, granted, he's doing all right, and so right now he's making me look like a fool. But just go down the list later in this draft: Yuri Perez, Cole Reagan, Joe Musgrove, Dylan Cease. Like I'd rather have all those guys. Bobby Miller. So yeah, I despise that pick.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been on my list even in like the 13th round or something.
No, exactly.
I think I would have been passing over him even if he was at the top of the rankings list.
Yep. Right. Exactly.
At least we can say something positive about Miraz this round with Bobby Miller.
I love that pick. That's a great pick there. Yeah. Love that pick.
I think Ryan lucked out with Steer right there in the 5th.
I was going to say the opposite.
Oh, really? You don't like it?
I know he's got a good start, but I think that's going to be short-lived. I don't think.
Yeah, whether he can sustain it, plays every freaking position.
That's true.
That's positive. True. But I think the worst pick of that round, besides Bassett, is probably mine, Evan Carter. I don't know if he was available in like any other draft. I don't know. I think he might have been kept and all that stuff. But I just kind of took a chance. I think Texas is underrated as far as like all those players. I think they're all going to have a good year. So I just kind of rolled the dice with Carter, and we'll see how it pans out.
Yeah, I think that I feel like I had said this to you before, so maybe not. But it's not that I dislike Evan Carter. I just he was great last year, and he hit in the fucking middle of the lineup and in the World Series, for great offense. I just don't know what the upside is there.
Mhm.
I mean, again, just what is Evan Carter versus Brian Reynolds or Teoscar in the next round? And, we're only picking one round, but yeah,
Yeah.
I don't love that pick. I do like the player, but if we're basing it off like round value, he doesn't provide you a keeper option. So you need production this year.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's
I
my
was
only
expect
hesitation with it.
Yeah, yeah. I was expecting like a younger version of Brian Reynolds or Teoscar, like just starting up, basing
Right.
that on a lot of what happened
And
late last year.
And it could
You
be,
know?
and it could be.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think to that point of Steer, I was kind of out on that pick then only because it was so busy in that team. I kind of stayed away from Cincinnati because of that.
Yeah.
Even though I like the players, but I mean, yeah, he looks great and he's probably going to prove me wrong. I know that the appeal to him, if I remember Loch saying so at the time, was that like, his stats look good, but also he plays every fucking position. That's huge.
Yeah.
So I get it from there. Yeah. And a lot of great pitchers in this round. I love the pitching in this round outside of Bassett.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything from your perspective, Gerace, that we missed?
Yeah, I wish I didn't pick Yuri Perez.
Well, I mean, it was a great pick at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Definitely.
It's
Yeah.
absolutely killing me. No, I mean,
You could have picked
Yeah.
Strider in the first.
yeah, I know. I see what you're saying, Matt. I mean, Evan Carter, maybe it's slightly early, but he's got a lot of upside. I think this is right around the right rounds where you can start picking for upside because it's that the talent's starting to dwindle a little bit, and you're starting to get in the more like mediocre or replaceable player range. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think going for upside, there's nothing wrong with that, and he definitely has a lot of upside. So, yeah, I mean, aside from that, I mean, I see the relievers are starting to go
Yeah.
with Hader and Diaz. Usually that starts a run. It doesn't look like that happened here, though.
No, yeah. Maybe a little bit with one extra guy the next round.
Yeah.
I think the next round, round 6, there's a lot of picks I really like in here. I mean, there's really nothing I dislike. I don't really love the Yandy Diaz pick, but I get it. He's a guy that I've always liked. I don't know. Like there's limited upside. I feel like he's completely reached it. There's no further he's going to go with it.
If it was OBP, it would be a lot better
Be a
pick.
lot better. Yeah, I think that the big dick pick of that round there is this is a bottle opener, by the way. So you can get these in Greece and probably other places you travel. Now, if you go
There it
to
is.
Italy, they're probably much smaller, but that's nothing. It's just the way it rolls, But yeah, so very, very, very popular. So sorry, Matt, that they're smaller in Italy, but the Greece ones are huge.
Yep.
Anyway,
You handled that very
dropped
well.
on my ground. My dog's gonna steal it off the floor. But no, I think this round was especially. I mean, obviously, again, we can't take injuries into consideration at the time, but some great pitchers between Snell,
Yeah.
Webb, Bieber. But I love Loch's pick and Garrett Cole because there was so much unknown at that time that if it wasn't as serious as it is, and that so far seems to be the case, and he comes back in June or July or whatever, and he's not getting Tommy John, he's not out for the year, he gets to keep Garrett Cole next year. If he replaces Garrett Cole with a Walker Buehler who maybe isn't as effective as he once was, like you get a top 5 pitcher there. That's basically you kept Logan Webb there, Gerace, and he swaps that with Garrett Cole. I think that's it's a great upside swing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, a lot of good picks that round.
Yeah. I mean, I guess one thing that's sticking out to me, and I'll know when we get to the 7th round, is are we really down to Jesus Luzardo already? Like, or is that just an early pick? Like, has it dwindled down that far?
I think he's about at that value. I guess you probably have a lower viewpoint on him, and I struggle with him. He's a player I struggle with, but I think he had a really good year last year, and I think he has upside to last. But I mean, I'd rather have Luzardo than, let's see, round 7. There's no pitchers that were taken that weren't capped. Gosman was a keeper. So I think you got to look in round 8. I'd rather have Luzardo than Rodon and probably Sale. It does get thin.
I don't know. I think that both of them have more upside than him, though.
Yeah, upside, really?
Did Luzardo burn you in a previous year or something?
No, I don't know.
Is he your CJ Abrams?
No,
what
I
else is gonna
just
get
I don't
done?
know. I mean, I don't think he's necessarily going to be horrible, but I don't know. I just don't see a ton of he, I don't see huge upside. Not the pedigree upside.
Yeah.
Um,
The thing that stands out with him
uh,
is that he's still pretty young, and from his like it seems like his innings were jumping up. So I'm like, if he hit like 200 innings this year, he seems like a guy that's built to do that this year for me. That's kind of why I was in on him in some other leagues, you know.
yeah,
I kind of agree, right? And I was in on him in his rookie season and the year after, and then I got out. And then he's one of those guys where like, okay, like he's proven me wrong. He's jumped up, from 12 games. Let's just say since he's got to Miami, right? An organization that at least can produce pitchers. 12 games, 18 to 32. He was 10-10 last year, 178 innings, 208 Ks, a highly respectable ERA with 358, a 121 whip. That's a really solid pitcher. I mean, and we compare that to, other guys that were in that. See what it does here. Even a round or so earlier. I mean, I would say you can compare him like Wood Luzardo and Cole Reagans. Again, just to pick on myself, I like Reagans better, but I'm sure we can compare those guys and debate it. But
well, I think
so I'm
Reagan's got more upside. I mean,
yeah,
he's more risk. He's
yeah,
definitely more risk, but
Yeah.
I think he's got more upside.
right. And
Luzardo.
that's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, but I'm okay with him going there, considering like really the next picture after that that's taken is Bybee. And he's a guy that like I just don't know enough about.
Right.
Or Senga who's hurt, or DeGrom who's hurt, or Brian
Yeah,
Wu.
that's what I was saying. Like, so I didn't know if it was just the pitchers
Yeah,
were already depleted that
yeah,
bad, and so yeah, it's not a bad pick when you look to
yeah.
see what was there.
Would you
Um,
rather have Luzardo in the sixth or Sonny Gray in the ninth?
I never would have picked something great.
So Luzardo in the sixth. Yeah,
I get, yeah, I guess,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting thing.
Dave-
All
And
right.
and David M's usually like he's strong with like picking pictures. I don't know. I mean, it
Yeah.
maybe I haven't
Well,
seen what
Sonny
Gerace
Gray
did
had a
yet this
great
year,
year
but
last year. I'm with you.
yeah,
Like
He
he's
did,
one of
yeah.
those guys that he's kryptonite to me. I had him a bunch of years back. It was like one of
He's
those
like
years where he just
on
happened
again,
to
off
screw
again,
me.
on again, off again.
Yeah, but he is a great pitcher. Like
Yeah.
and his year last year was phenomenal. I mean, I think he figured in like somewhere in the Cy Young ratings, but 32 starts. I get he's only 8-8. I get it. 184 innings, 183 Ks, 279 ERA, 115 WHIP. Like that's really solid.
Yeah,
You know,
maybe I'm better. I think I had him in the 439 year,
right?
2021.
That's the problem. I had
That'll
him in
do
those
it.
years too. Yeah, so he's definitely burned for me. Round seven, anything stick out, love or hate in there? I to me, it looks like a really solid round. We have a lot of keepers in here.
Yeah.
Well, 4 keepers.
Yeah,
Contreras for me is
yeah,
the one I would bury.
Right.
Again,
I
just
get.
for the catcher reason. I think he could have done better. Really like I don't know. Cal Riley even is in the next round. I think is just as good, especially in an OPS league.
I
You
don't
know,
know about that.
really?
I,
Did
I
Contreras hit
think
30 home runs last year?
I think Contreras is a really solid player. I get like if you're gonna pick on like like as we did, like we
yeah,
love Real Muto, but you're gonna pick him around 3. I get that like sentiment, but I think where catchers started to go in this round, I'm actually okay with that. But like, I mean, he had a great year last year, 141 games,
Yeah.
367
and
OBP,
he plays
OPS.
every
I'm sorry.
day.
Yeah,
Like I mean, I
825.
think
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing is like he plays at EDHs when he doesn't catch. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
no, I
mean,
why,
think outside of Will Smith, he's up there with the top echelon of catchers.
yeah.
Probably should have gone that round. Again, I wouldn't have taken a catcher that
Yeah,
early.
no, I'm not arguing with like where he went.
Yeah.
Just the comparison to Cal Raleigh, who
Oh yeah,
struggles to hit 200. That's my problem with him.
well, that's
Yeah,
true. We do keep track of average, and that's where
Yeah,
yeah, that's true.
Contreras will take over. But OPS, he's solid. He's
Yeah.
yeah, he
you
hits
know,
homers. I mean,
He
yeah.
double
yeah,
he doubles the home runs. He hits the same amount of RBI, runs, all that kind of stuff as well. But yeah,
but
you take
total
a dip at the
bases
average.
though, and total bases, it's a category we run, right?
Yeah, yeah, we do.
Yeah. So I mean, here you have a guy that has better OPS despite not necessarily producing as much power per se, but
Yeah.
We had 38
yeah,
doubles.
yeah, Yeah. I like Contreras, but I get the criticism is just drafting
get it.
catchers too early. You know.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Which we could say, you know, him, Will Smith, and Yainer Diaz could all be criticized for that. But yeah, I'm okay with that there.
Yeah.
You know. What else you guys don't like?
I like, even though so far it's not working out, I like Langford there.
I like
that
that
was
line.
good.
I like Langford there too. I like Langford there better than Crawford in the 5th.
Yeah.
Not Crawford. Carter.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think Langford's a unique prospect. I mean, he just shot right up in the majors. I don't put much in the spring. So yeah, that spring definitely hasn't carried over, but I mean, I think he'll figure it out at some point. I think
think
he's
so
a
too.
unique talent.
Yeah, and I think like I'm always big on the guys that have done well in college too. I don't know. It just seems like it's their minor leagues. They're just a little bit more prepared going in. But I was very happy that he made the opening day roster, and yeah, if he pans out, I got him for a couple of years keeper value, or I can just hang him out there for trade.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm not huge on the Paredes pick, but I get it. He's probably just a guy I'm generally out on. Not, it's probably
He might lose his job.
yeah. I mean, it's
I would be
partially a Tampa
shocked, yeah.
thing, right? It's partially a Tampa thing. It's partially like he's a one-trick pony. He's like Kyle Schwarber to a degree.
Right.
But I get that he plays different positions. I can't believe that Yahoo has him at second base. That's pretty crazy. But yeah, but I love the Suzuki pick. I mean, all in on him. I mean, if you compare it, just to be, again, critical of something that I did, if you compare Suzuki to Brian Reynolds, I'd probably rather have Suzuki. I don't know why I passed on him there, compared to Reynolds, but yeah, I love that pick.
I love them this year. And he's hurt now, so
yeah, but I mean,
he should be back.
Yeah,
you could say that about just about anybody this year.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So 8th round, I know we probably all are out on the Rowley pick, not because we dislike him, but just because of the value of the catchers. And even still, I probably would take him there compared to other catchers, but it is what it is. And we have a bunch of keepers in here between Torres, Walker, Gallen. Anything in here that sticks out to you that you guys love or hate?
I don't like Santander there.
Yeah, I don't either.
He's okay.
Matt has a good point though. He is a producer. I mean,
he is, man. I'm starting to believe in Santander.
Yeah. I mean, 28 home runs. He played 153 games, 95 ribbies,
the doubles,
81 runs,
back-to-back years
41
of
doubles,
28 plus home runs. I mean, look at the RBI. I mean, what's not to like? I don't know.
Well, his OBP is low, especially with all the talent in the Orioles. That's
but we don't go off that, right? We only care about the OPS.
Well, I'm not even saying the OBP. I'm saying with all the talent I mean, if you look at their AAA team, they beat a lot of major league. They beat the A's. They probably beat the Marlins or whatever. Their AAA team's like overflowing with outfielders right now.
Right. Well, that was my fear with taking any of these guys, and you guys have heard me say this a few times, but Cincinnati and Baltimore are just so stacked with guys, and Cincinnati obviously it kind of worked itself out through injuries. But I mean, I drafted Colton Cowser into one league, and I know someone got him here that was a good pick, but I never expected him to start over Austin Hayes, and now he is. And I feel the same thing. These guys, they're in a position to win, and if these guys start slipping or they have better guys, which Baltimore, as you're saying, does, they can bring him up pretty quickly.
How much longer can they keep Kierstead down?
Right, exactly. Yeah. So I get that.
So that's
But I'm kind of I was with you on instinct, Gerace, and I think through one of the other leagues and chats we did about the draft that Matt had opened my eyes at a little bit. So I don't mind that as much.
Yeah.
I'm
not bad, huge, just not.
Right, exactly. I'm not huge on the Arise pick. And I had him last year in this league, probably not too far off this, maybe a little bit later. And he was a great average player. And so I get that in this particular league. But he was frustrating because I started him at first pretty much the whole season. And yeah, he just was like, he's a one-trick pony. It just was strictly average. So I just feel like there's higher upside guys. And if I'm going to take, I mean, I get that he plays two positions and that's nice. But I'd probably rather have like Josh Naylor in the next round. Who does a little more, So
Yeah,
but
he really puts you in the hole in those other categories. And
yeah,
he has to hit
he
350
he
for
has to
him
hit
to be worth
350. Otherwise, he's
anything.
worthless. Right? He's not
Right.
going to steal bases. He's not going to hit
And
RBIs. He's
what's
not
he
going
hitting
to
this year?
OPS. Not that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
no,
not
I
off to a
know,
good
but it's not
start.
even close to that. If you
Yeah.
oh,
254.
250, yeah.
Yeah. He's not going to hit home runs. No
One
RBIs.
RBI.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, so
Yeah. He can kill you.
yeah.
A guy again, and Matt and I have kind of talked about this guy, in the past, like Lane Thomas, I think can be a solid pick there because if you like, what's the upside of Lane Thomas? What's the upside of Brian Reynolds? 4 rounds earlier. They're probably pretty equivalent with maybe Lane Thomas being better upside if all things bounce right.
Yep.
Yeah, more stone
But
base.
so we see Jordan Walker as a keeper here in the
Yeah.
8th round.
Yeah.
If he wasn't kept, what round do you think he would have went in?
Ooh,
Yeah, I don't know. He's a guy I just asked one of the I know you guys aren't playing OTP anymore, but in one of the OTP leagues I play in, there's a huge St. Louis fan, and he co-commissions a league with me, and he's just such a sweet soul. And so I know he's a little biased to begin with, but I asked him, I said, "What do you think of Jordan Walker?" And I was asking because I feel like that dude still has a lot of upside to him. I feel like he's probably gonna be one of those guys that just gets kind of like swept under, becomes a post hype prospect type thing. But he's like a physical specimen, smart moving in the right field. He's got speed, he's got power. So I feel like there's upside to him. But yeah, probably 14th round maybe in this draft.
Yeah, I mean he's post hype. I mean he's got upside, but he's a post hype
Right.
sleeper. Like nobody would have taken him in the 8th round if he wasn't kept. So
I get that. Yeah.
yeah, that's a tough call. He's still very young too, right?
He is. A lot has to go right for him to bring value there.
Yeah.
Basically. All right. So what do we got? 9th round. There's a lot of picks I like and dislike in here.
Matt wants us to skip the 9th round.
What do we got here?
You got your boy. You still have him? You still rostering him?
I'm still rostering. I'm still ride or die, dude. He's gonna come back.
No, Matt, you do a great job. This is like one of the I don't know. I mean, I had Ruiz in the one league. I mean, the league that matters, the Roto League, last year, and he did great for that. But maybe it was just because he was on my team. I started to notice that he wasn't playing a lot in the last couple months. They sat him so much, and so his job was up in jeopardy. So, yeah, maybe it wasn't as apparent to everybody because of he stole 7 bases or something like that. So it looked great, but. It was always going to be his will he play?
Yeah, but he's a streaky guy, I think. But you got to understand, last year was really his first full year. So he had his ups and downs. It was really, I mean, everybody was kind of surprised that he was sent down so early. But you kind of now with everything kind of coming out, it seems like they were just doing it for manipulating his time. So they can kind of maybe control him. I don't know. He's lighting it up in the minors, doing everything he's supposed to be doing. So, I don't think there's any reason to just kick him to the side just yet.
No.
If he comes up in the first month and he struggles, then yeah, I understand. But I just think he's a young guy with tons of talent, tons of speed anyway, and that could come in handy in later the second half.
They can. I agree. I mean, I have my issues with him, but I don't mind it there, obviously before the demotion, because, he can be a 70 stolen base guy. So if you're going for that, but yeah, I mean, obviously in hindsight, it's tough, but not a fan of his in general, but that's just personal preference of styles. But if I had to do a quick, synopsis of this round, I would say I fucking love the Kodai Senga pick. I think, to me, if he's healthy coming in, he's in the top couple rounds in this draft. And I know, there's some debate to that, at least between Matt and I, of how good he was. Sorry, my dog that never barks is barking. But I think that he can be a really solid pitcher, and he was at the end of the year. As far as the relievers go, I like the Munoz pick there, primarily because I think he can be an RP1. And so getting him after all the rest of those guys go, I think is huge. I love the Imanaga pick. Imanaga pick to me is the pick of the draft, and he was in a couple of the drafts that we did, but he was high on my list. I just kept thinking he'd fall. I don't know why the hell I took Brian Wu over him. That was insane. of me. And yeah, and I don't particularly like I don't understand or don't like the bone pick there. That
I was
pick to
gonna
me
say,
just like I don't understand what the upside is. I get
you
that
could have got him 10 rounds later.
could have got him probably 10 rounds later. Oh,
Maybe.
unless Barada picked them in round
Well,
one.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to remember Barada's in this. Yeah,
Uh,
for those that don't know, Barada usually is first 10
Phillies
picks of
first.
Phillies. So
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
really? Yeah.
Yeah, Phillies first.
But
And I like
there's
the
still a
Josh
lot of
Naylor pick.
yeah,
yeah,
there's a lot of I like
he's good.
there's a lot of good players taking that round
He's
for
good.
sure.
DeGrom, I think that's way too early for DeGrom.
I think for the
Yeah.
sake, I like the theory, right? I did the same thing with McClanahan. Now I get the Grom's coming
Well,
back this year, but yeah,
I
probably
mean,
could have waited a
he'll
little
be
bit.
back, but late. I mean, he'll be back late, and it's the 9th round.
Right,
So
right,
if you do
exactly.
keep him, I don't like players coming off
TJ,
Tommy John.
right. I get it.
Like it's because it usually takes them even when they're back, it takes them a while to like become that same
Right.
pitcher again, even
Right.
like a year. So
That's
so
right.
he might keep him for an 8th, and he won't necessarily be Jacob DeGrom, and then he's going to keep him the next round for 7th. I mean, he
Right.
probably won't keep him again if he's not.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you got
Anything?
tight rosters, you got to keep that piece of shit for a whole year, like Shane
Right.
McClanahan. I mean, geez, good luck with that.
Yeah. We'll
At least
see.
it's late.
I had to get
At least
Right.
it's a late flyer.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys like or dislike in this round?
Nah, everything you guys touched on was great. Naga, that was a guy I was eyeing in every draft. I just never had a chance to get him.
I got him in all 3.
Yeah.
So
No, I think that's awesome. Yeah,
I
you
got
killed me
lucky.
every time. Yeah. Who wants to take the role in this? Matt, why don't you go? Anything you love or dislike in this round? I think we all have.
I mean,
something we like.
I was trying to get Jackson Holiday in one of these drafts too. This was the round I was eyeing him, and of course, Gerace had to take him.
Okay.
But I like that pick. You kind of know he was going to be brought up really quick. So to have him for like the next 5 years, that's pretty solid right there. I like that pick a lot.
It's kind of interesting in hindsight, right? That you look at we took round 7 Wyatt Langford and round 10 Holiday. I think that like that value is really good for the high prospect pedigree.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I think in the Yankees League, I got them
7th
both.
round.
And I got Langford in the 6th round and Holiday in the 7th round. It's that league's not, other than being deep, it's not that much different than this league.
No.
4 keepers, 1 round earlier.
Correct.
So
yeah, exactly.
I'm surprised he fell to me there.
Yeah, no, I agree. Sorry, Matt, I know I cut you off, so keep going, please.
Oh, yeah, just a couple of picks I'm not really in love with. The Morel pick there. I like that he plays multiple positions. Just think it's a little too early for him in the 10th
Agreed.
round.
Yeah.
Michael King, I'm not a big fan of in the 10th round either. I mean, I guess it's not really a big miss if you're grabbing Michael King in the 10th round. I'm just not a big fan. But those were the ones that kind of stood out for me.
Yeah. Gerace, anything on your end?
Yeah. I like the Evan Phillips one, like as you said before with Munoz, the round before. I think Phillips could also be the same.
I agree.
mean, that team is just amazing.
Yeah.
Alcantara was a keeper.
Yeah.
Like I love him, but like that's another one where you're gonna have to wait like a full year, and it's a 10th round.
Yeah, it's true, man.
True. And then maybe sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I agree with you on Phillips because he and Munoz were the guys that like I had Phillips last year pretty much every league, and and there was no competition there. So he and Munoz were definitely the guys that, like, ideally I would love to have as my RP1 and get them a little bit later than the other guys. So I agree with you there.
Yeah, and Yoshida seems early too.
He's a tough player for you to judge. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I can see that.
But it just seems, but maybe it's just the draft's so diluted.
Right. So flipped on its head. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
right.
I don't know. So. I know outfield was what's the word I'm looking for? It was light.
Thin. It's thin. Yeah, it's real thin.
Yeah,
I agree.
Though, but I don't know. It seems a little early for that. Because that seems pretty risky there. But
yeah, I can see that. Well, to give a love to the guys that we keep harping on some of these rounds, and again, nothing personal. I do like the Kettle Marte pick there. I think that's solid for what it is. Again, like
Agree.
just using Kettle Marte versus some other second baseman we see, I think that's pretty decent. And Mitch Keller, even though not a huge fan, he had a great year last year. I mean, obviously he was a little bit up and down, but I think that's a solid pick there. Nothing that's like gonna win or lose the league, but decent. And the next round, honestly, there's nothing really that sticks out. I mean, I do know at the time I did want the Hunter Brown pick.
Yeah.
And the Verlander pick was curious. You can stick to this, right? So what in your and just in and I don't know the pace right now of their injuries, but what is the pace currently of Verlander there versus either Scherzer or DeGrom? He's a little bit
He's
ahead of
Verlander starting Friday.
Okay. All right. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Gotcha,
that's why I knew he was going to be back early.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
why I think I have Scherzer in one of my other leagues, but I picked him late. I mean,
Yeah.
Scherzer's even coming back before like Kershaw or DeGrom or any of
Right.
them. He might be another like month and a half out. But
Yeah.
I mean, Verlander wasn't going to be out that long, so that's my thought around that.
No, that's solid. I mean, we have a lot of keepers here. We got Judge, Estrada, Dominguez, Cruz, Peralta. So there's not too much to harp in either way on this.
Yeah.
I like the Max Muncy pick.
Me too.
To get
Yeah,
that
too.
kind of value in the 11th round.
Yeah, I agree, especially at that position. Yeah.
Yeah.
What were we gonna say, Gerace?
Yeah, no, I mean, I like that pick. I like Peralta here.
Well, he was a keeper. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, I'm saying
Yeah. Value-wise,
that's good
right?
value there. Like,
Yeah.
like his
O'Neal,
keeper,
Cruz. Yeah.
but right. I think like Cruz is good, but I maybe I went into keepers because I was going to go after one of the keepers.
Jason Dominguez.
Yes.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah,
Me
close
too.
your ears, Matt.
Matt loves that guy. Matt,
I know.
I think that's solid, man.
Matt's looking like this on the podcast.
It's just way too early as a keeper. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like
I
that's
agree.
another one where if it was like a 20th round keeper and you want to take the shot, okay, but that's way too early. I mean, I think there's still a lot of question marks with Dominguez.
Me too.
I mean, he really had times where he struggled in the high minors, so it might take him a while if he is going to be a good player. It might take him a while. I know he came up and showed some power.
Did pretty well, yeah.
But but I don't know. I mean, I think that's just for these really young players. I don't know. I just think it's a little too early for him. I think you could have got him later. I mean, unless Matt picked him, but
yeah. No, I agree with you, man.
If I had him, it would have been a tough call to keep. I don't know, but
it depends what round.
He's still super young, but I mean, just you're right. He did struggle like in the minors last year at times, but then he came up and it just felt like he'd kind of been in that roster all year. He's hitting cleanup for the Yankees. They threw him right in there, so you kind of know what direction or what they think of him as a player. So maybe in a couple, I think same with this injury too. I could definitely see him coming back before the All-Star break, unless they really want to baby him. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of potential with him.
I don't disagree. I think
bias, that.
Yeah, I think the hard part too is that like he falls almost into the Bryce Harper aspect of like he's so young and so hyped. He's 16, or even younger when you start getting hyped. So I mean, the fact that anyone would produce close to what they're expected at that age, by the time they get to major leagues, is impressive. And then you add the fact that he's in New York and he's a Yankee. Now you have that pressure built on. That's also very hard. And and then of course like prospect development isn't linear, so it's not exactly going to go forward every single year, and injuries combined. So it's a tough road for him. If he becomes like a close to an all-star type performer, I think that's a huge win. Like we don't need this guy, even though he's hyped at 16, 17, 18. We don't need this guy to become a Hall of Famer. We just and I say we in like the baseball world, but like the Yankees system will be thrilled if he becomes a close to all-star, performer each and every year. That'd be a great grab, but I agree. Round 11, keeping him, I wouldn't be that happy with, but.
And maybe that's my problem with him. He was hyped as a 16-year-old, but his hype seemed to go down every year he played in the minors. Like, I mean, by the time he was coming up last year, I mean, he was still a somewhat top prospect, but he wasn't like
Yeah.
when he was 16 and he first came on the scene. He was like the next thing. He was basically like the next Mike Trout or whatever. But the more years he played in the minors, it got a little watered down. So I don't know. Maybe that's part of why I feel that way.
Yeah, and being a top prospect is hard. Where we saw Profar and Makata and all these guys that just don't pan out. So most of them are not going to pan out. So the fact that you become a decent prospect or a player as like a top prospect is impressive. But yeah, I'm with you there.
Yep.
All right, round 12. Any loves, any hates?
I love Caminero and Adames there.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. I love Adames in every draft. It just seems like he goes at the right spot. This whole round, I think this whole round has a lot of good players too.
Yeah,
everybody kind of went where they should have gone.
Yeah. I love the Barrios pick, man. Barrios is a great pick there. I took Caminero there based on if he's going to be rated in the realm of Jackson Holiday and Wyatt Langford, I felt like I had to take him there before one of you fuckers got another pick. But I think this round went pretty much as expected, but I think the Barrios pick, he had a great year last year. He had a very good year last year. So the fact that he went in the 12th, when I'm just going to scroll randomly and say
he's usually your pick.
Yeah,
Barrios.
I'm hot or cold. All right, Barrios in the 12th or Bassett in the 5th.
Yeah,
right.
True. I would rather have Barrios.
Yeah. Sorry, my volume just shifted. So can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah,
it's a little bit later, but it's not bad.
Yeah, apology. So round 12. Matt goes Paul Skeens there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
he'll be up in a couple of weeks. You'll see.
The second best pitching prospect as we. Gerace, what's your say on the pitching prospects? Who do you have? Who do you like?
Skeens is probably the top one. I did hear the banter in the other podcast, but
just mute you real fast.
But yours is up. Yours is already playing, so he's a little bit ahead now. But I think I think in terms of upside, Skeens probably hasn't beat
over Jones, yeah. But I guess I always push Jackson Jobe a little bit ahead of Skeens, but.
I think you're the only one pushing Jackson Jobe as the top prospect in baseball.
We'll see.
Oh, was it Joe? Oh, that's right.
It was so you don't even know. Like nobody knows. Nobody expects.
We're arguing Spencer Jones, Jared Jones. So who, by the way, I saw in Philly the other night. Vince was kind enough to share his work tickets, and it was a last minute thing. We went. It was great, man. I had so much fun. I'm so happy. So appreciative of those opportunities because. It was a quick thing. We would have sat home and done nothing, had dinner and the normal routine and put the kid to bed. In this case, he got to bring a friend. We got great seats. It was like 6th row right behind home plate. Paid for in the Diamond Club with, loaded tickets as far as being able to buy some food and drinks and stuff. And Regan and his friend had so much fun that it was just so cute seeing them be so excited. But Jared Jones was pitching and he was so good. He's got holes in his game, but for a rookie, and I'm pretty confident in saying that I put money on it that the only runs he's given up this year are off of home runs. And that's his bug. And it's part of the issue is when you pitch 97, 98, doesn't take much once you get hold of it. But his off speed stuff and his pitch dynamics, and I was looking at someone posted on Twitter that showed his last year versus this year pitch mix and speeds. Like that dude is special. And Gerace, you probably heard me say this before, but one of the analysts I listened to that kind of got me on him was calling him a mini Jacob deGrom from the aspect of delivery and pitch mix and things like that. Underratedness coming in. He wasn't hyped like Paul Skeens and things like that. So
right, he was like late hyped. It was like a late hype.
Yeah, like this year spring training. Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah. No, he's exciting. He's an exciting player for sure. The thing that stands out is he's not walking anybody. That's really impressive.
Yeah.
And
he's striking for a rookie like that. He's striking 8 out in 6 innings, and that's pretty consistent.
Nice. Anyway, doing the right things.
It's good.
Yeah.
But I still think at the end of the day, Skeens is probably the top guy, but we'll see. But who knows when he comes up? I mean, it is the Pirates, so
It is the Pirates. That's the only thing that scares me.
Yeah.
But I mean, the guy is just killing
They
it right
produced
now. There's
Jared
no reason
Jones.
for him, huh? What's
yeah.
that?
But I'm saying they're probably gonna keep Skeens down for the extra year control.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think he comes up, June,
Yeah.
July-ish,
Yeah,
But
yeah. Well,
depends what they're doing.
once they exhaust like every cent that they can save from him, then he'll come up. But yeah, I mean, I don't really think he has much to prove. He's another guy that just dominated in college too, and he's just ready, you know.
Yeah.
I agree.
Oh, one more pick I like here is the Jimenez pick. I know we've been getting on Barada, but I think that's a good pick there.
I think he's so underrated, man. Every year, I like that pick as well, man.
Yeah. You can do a lot worse with your second baseman in that round.
Yeah. I like Geloff too. I don't mind him there.
Yeah.
He's a little bit of a risk, but he could be huge upside. So especially when you get into these keeper rounds, if Geloff, let's say he just doubles what he did last year, which of course is not the best way to do the baseball stat math. But I mean you're pushing a 30-30 guy at second base. I don't think he necessarily reaches that, but I think he could be a 25-25 guy. Obviously his biggest obstacle is that team. And how much he progresses in his development. But
I like him there too. And just to have some perspective, he was taken like what in the 7th round in the Yanks League.
Right.
Oh, was he taking that early?
Yeah. Right. I agree. Yeah, he fell pretty good value here.
Was that a Wallace pick?
Yeah, no
Wallace pick.
infields change the dynamics of like how important those positions are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Round 13. Anything love or hate in there? I got a couple preferences, but you guys go.
I circled this round because I thought again the Indians with some weird picks. AJ Minter, right? That's not a good pick, right? Am I wrong or am I right?
I like your confidence, Matt.
Yeah, AJ Minter. I'm just like, okay, I guess if you're looking for holds in the Brave system, that makes sense. But I think there's other teams you can kind of search for and get better value than Minter.
I don't disagree. I like Minter, but I'm just really quick, just to visually scroll down to the last round. We can probably find a reliever in here, like Aroldis Chapman, that I don't like as much as Minter.
Yeah,
but
that's comparable.
Leclerc,
right?
Or Tanner Scott. Again, not guys I really like, but yeah, Minter is a borderline waiver wire guy.
Yeah, and especially when you could have drafted. Who else is in this round? I like. Sean Murphy. I mean, it's a catcher, but still, I think Sean Murphy's a great pick there. Brandon Nimmo. Like these guys are, I think, going to give you a lot of good production. Colton Cowser.
Yeah.
Even Duran, I think, was a solid pick there. All those guys I would have taken over Minter.
Yeah, I agree.
But I like this round. Another round with a lot of good players taken.
Yeah, especially now in hindsight, Colton Cowser.
Yeah.
Great start. What say you, Gerace?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's some good picks here. I mean, Cowser's one of them. Not to toot my own horn, I really like Duran here.
Yeah, me too.
To have the leadoff hitter of the Red Sox, I mean, that in the 13th round is a pretty good value. Same thing.
He was hurt though, right? When we were drafting, it wasn't really like fleshed out like how bad his injury was or something, right?
I think he had some dings in spring training, but I don't think it wasn't anything that was jeopardizing the start to the season.
I think the question really was how much of his breakout was real, how much is he going to play against left-handers?
Yeah.
But no, I like that pick.
Yeah, Nemo's good there. I think that's somebody that can score 1 million runs.
Yeah, his production was great last year, especially. I mean, he started hitting for power. His batting average is on base is elite. He's always going to be on base. He's going to score runs, and if he can hit for power, so I think that's a really solid pick, especially in a thin outfield in the 13th round.
No rounds associated. Matt, Nimmo or Castellanos?
Oh, Nimmo, hands
Now
down.
you had 8 rounds, or whatever, 3 rounds, 10 rounds, so
Yeah.
yeah, I get
I
that.
don't know. I mean, I think you guys are a little down on Kessie. I mean, I don't love him. I mean, he would have to fall pretty far for me to take him, but what he still had over 100 RBIs last year, didn't he?
I'm
I
sure,
believe he did.
yeah, I'm sure he did.
I don't know. Here's my thoughts
Yeah.
on like guys like Castellanos and Baum. I just think in that lineup, you got a lot of good players ahead of you. They're all going to be on base, so it's easy to pack on a couple of RBIs.
But
I
it's
just,
what
I don't
29
know.
homers. I mean, we were just talking about uh Santander who had 28 homers.
Yeah.
So he had 29 and 106 ribbies.
Yeah,
And it's not an OBP league, so it's average. So he hit 270,
right.
which
Yeah.
isn't bad.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, is he lighting the world on fire? No, I mean, other than
having
that
doubled,
one playoff run, but no, but
Mhm.
yeah. I don't
I,
disagree. I think that like I've soured on Castellanos a little bit because I really liked him in Detroit. I loved him in Cincinnati.
yeah,
And I
Yeah.
was super excited for Philly to get him because I do think that like he's a good hitter. I just feel like I don't like the way his game has gone. I feel like he chases a lot more. I feel like
Mhm.
there's a little more contact in his game than there is. And so yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's a good point. I don't disagree with you there. Um, scrolling back down to what are we, the 13th. Um, in Nemo's case, uh, come on, Web. Uh, we have, obviously a better um OPS there.
Right.
Nice.
But his average was the same, 270.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah.
less.
A little bit less homers,
That's a
less
good point.
RBI.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More
But
stolen bases, obviously.
right.
Yeah.
I can't even scroll over because
Well,
freaking
no, it's three. Is that three?
I don't know. I would tell you if I could scroll in Yahoo.
I would think it's 3. It's definitely not 30,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or
I
else he'd
think
be
that's
a
all it is.
top 5 pick.
Yeah. Anyway,
Nah. Yeah. No, those are good points though,
it's
for
fair.
sure, especially with this kind of league with average.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But either way, they're comparable enough to make it that many rounds. I don't know. Yeah, but whatever.
Yeah.
We're nitpicking. And that's the part. When we get to this portion of the draft, we are nitpicking a little bit.
Right.
Mhm.
I like the Outman pick, and it's not that I'm huge on Outman. I just think that like, okay, you take a good guy, I'm sorry, a young guy in a good offense, and you could potentially get a 2020 aspect there. I'll take that upside in the 13th round. And I don't really like the Edman pick. And it's not that I don't like Tommy Edman. I had him, I think, in every league last year. I love the versatility, but it's so frustrating because he hits either first or ninth in the lineup. He's going to give you like 7 home runs, maybe 25 to 30 stolen bases if he plays full time, and some runs depending where he hits in the lineup. So to me, he runs in the same issue as like Luis Ariz, where like he just is a very limited category producer. So almost the aspect that is best for him is that you can plug him in while other guys get off, and that's fine, like days off, and that's fine. But I just don't know how much I'd rather have that than taking other guys with like potential higher upside eventually. But
Yeah.
nitpicking there.
Right.
All right.
No, I mean, a lot of these guys, especially in these next couple of rounds, you kind of like, they all kind of fell in the right spots, I think, right?
Yeah, right, of course. A lot of ADP going on.
Yeah, right.
Which is
Anything that stands out to you in this round? 14th?
I would say I love the Correa pick. Again, obviously
Mm.
Correa isn't what he was, but I think he's healthier than he was last year. I actually like that team. I mean, especially that late. I think he's
Right.
solid. I mean, Ian Happ, he's I think better than people think.
That's what I was gonna say.
I was happy getting him there. I really wanted Brian Hayes in one league. I didn't get him, so I thought he was picked there. I like Bailey Ober there. I think he's pretty solid. Probably underrated to some degree. I'm not big on this guy, but I thought the Eovaldi pick was really good.
Yeah. That looks like the best pick in this round so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I'm not huge on him, but yeah, I mean, he's working out so far.
Yeah.
Even if I mean, he's not going to go 200 innings, but if you get 125, 150,
Yep.
Of really quality innings that he can do, produce
Yeah.
in the 14th round, that's pretty good. Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
But one other shout out, and I know ex-Philly, but I think that's a good place for Hoskins.
I think so too. I like Hoskins there.
I like the Brandon Pfaadt pick there. I think his
Yeah.
upside. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
I think Philly fans are a little bit burned from what he killed us in last year, but if he can do what he did to some degree there, I tend to like that. I do want to backtrack real quick. 13. I don't really love the Jordan Lawler pick, and I get it. And again, I'm
Yeah.
nitpicking here.
Yeah, right.
Like, as far as like the prospects go, I think that like I'm kind of down on him. I had him last year in a league, and I think that like to me, just looking at this particular draft, I don't know why one would take Jordan Lawler over, let's say, 2 rounds later, Dylan Cruz. Right? You got a higher prospect rating in Dylan Cruz. You got a better chance
Maybe he's closer. Maybe
playing.
that's
I don't
maybe.
know. I think Dylan Cruz is pretty damn close. I don't think he's
I think Cruz is in Double A though, isn't he? He might be in Double A.
But
Yeah, but he also played college ball.
play
Yeah.
college. All right.
Yeah.
Right.
And Lawler just seems to be kind of, between injuries and production, and I don't know. And
Every year it seems like Lawler's like a top 10 prospect, right? Out of like every
Mhm.
ranking you look at. But yeah, I'm just looking at like some of his numbers. I'm still not really on him, and definitely not in the 13th round.
I think it's way too early.
Right.
One of our others, he went like almost at the very end of the draft. I don't remember which draft that was, but I was thinking about him because it was like it was a much deeper league than this, and it was towards the end of the draft. So like you had to take him in the 13th.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's not like there are even any whispers of him like coming up or
No.
wait a month, he's going to be up or anything like
Right.
that. I haven't really heard much about him besides him being a top 10 prospect.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I was off him this year in any deep leagues that I would maybe draft him is that Perdomo was an all-star last year. Not that he's a great player, but like that team doesn't necessarily need offense as much. So the fact that he plays above average defense and provides some offense hitting the ninth hole, like there's no reason for him to come up. And to the point, I think he's hurt now. But Perdomo, I'm speaking about Lawler. But when Perdomo got hurt, he's nowhere near. They're calling up Blaze Alexander.
Right.
So so I don't really love that pick, but 14th we covered, I think.
Yeah.
15th. I love the Dylan Cruz pick there for all the prospects we talked about. I think that's solid.
I think this was a good round too. 15th, there was a lot of good players.
Yeah, Colt Keith is good. Nick Lodolo is good. I don't mind the McKenzie pick there. James Wood is worth a shot.
Julian O'Neill.
I love the Tyler O'Neill pick, man. I mean, obviously he's having a great start. I didn't expect that, but I wanted him in one league and I didn't get him in any. And I just thought he was worth the shot, and so far he's doing great. But yeah, all those picks I think are great.
Yeah. Although I think it's a little early. I mean, some of these prospects, I think round 15 is a little early for them.
I can see that.
But
as Keith.
Well, I mean, Keith, I think Cruz, it's a little early for Cruz because of his proximity.
Yeah.
But I think it's early for Wood, even though I think, to be honest, I think Wood is whoever they think the Cruz brothers are, Ellie and O'Neill. I don't think they're ever going to reach their hype. I think James Wood is the player that they think that the Cruz brothers are. I think his plate discipline is ridiculous. He struck out a little bit more last year, but like the power he has, the speed he has, he's big. Like he looks like Aaron Judge, basically.
He's a big dude.
He's enormous. So that's why, I mean, I guess that's why I compared him to the two the Cruz guys, because they're all roughly the same build. But I think he's got the plate discipline that they don't quite have. I mean, like if you look what he's doing in the minors right now, I mean he's slugging like 1,300. He's walked like I think 3 more times than he struck out. He's batting 4 something, and 1,300 OPS. Like he's doing ridiculous. I think he's that power, speed, huge body guy that's actually going to pan out in a big way. And I'm not saying Ellie De La Cruz and O'Neill Cruz won't be good players. I think they'll be decent fantasy players. I don't think Ellie De La Cruz is going to. I think his on-base percentage is really going to hurt him and hurt him where he's going to be in the order in his playing time. I think he's going to struggle with that, but I think James Wood is going to be a huge OBP guy with power and some speed.
That's interesting. So we saw him last year or the year before. I think it was last year early on, like this time of year. We saw him at the first game in the Blue Rocks stadium because he played for the Blue Rocks in a high A Washington system. And as impressive as he is as like a specimen, and we always get like great seats there 'cause it's like $15 to sit second row. And we always sit on that side by their dugout. You see him like standing, 12 feet away in the on deck circle. And he's a huge guy, he's crazy athletic. And he had like a great game. I think we saw him twice there, but the first game we saw him, he had a great game. He had like a home run, a double, and a stolen base. But there was something about him that just like I wasn't as impressed with what I saw, but that's where I struggle. Like maybe the thing I keep considering is that like maybe he's just so talented that the game just comes easy. He's like kind of nonchalant about it. Like Griffey Jr. I'm not comparing him to Griffey Jr., but like he just seemed like to be like, yeah, just so easy. I'm just kind of like, ho hum, where
Going through the motions,
I have to fucking concentrate up there. And like Chase Utley seems always like he's trying his hardest, or Real Muto or something like that. And so that's where I was confused by. So I guess my question is, in a bubble, forget fantasy for a second. You are a ML GM, Major League MLB GM. And who do you take? Do you take Wood or one of the Cruz brothers? And what order do you take?
I put Wood first.
Take Wood first. Okay.
If I'm a GM, yes.
All right. So Wood, and then which Cruz brother?
O'Neill.
O'Neill, and then
now Ellie.
Matt, any take on that?
Oof. I don't. That's a great breakdown on James Wood. I don't know as much about James Wood, so I really couldn't comment. But yeah, I kind of think O'Neill, Cruz, and Ellie are very similar too. If I was drafting one, I'd probably lean more with. I don't know. I just go with my gut. I'd probably just take Ellie.
Yeah. I tend to agree. I think obviously watching Ellie and O'Neill are like they're insane specimens. They're just like fucking
they both
huge and fast and strong.
Yeah, they look like they should be wide receivers for
exactly
any NFL team.
Yeah, or linebackers, really.
Yeah, right.
So in that sense, I probably take Ellie only because I don't know. I think there's something a little bit more special about him. I don't know what it is, but
I mean, fantasy, I would take Ellie, but over O'Neill. But I think like in terms of the actual baseball production they're going to have, I think O'Neill's going to. I mean, I just really think Ellie struggles with getting on base.
Yeah, I can understand that. All right. So, but yeah, Dylan Cruz, right? So I just pulled up top 5 picks. I'm sorry, top prospects in 24, and where they are, when they're expected. So top 7 going in order. I'll do top 10. Jackson Holliday, Jackson Churio, Paul Skeens, Junior Caminero, Evan Carter, Wyatt Langford, Dylan Cruz, Ethan Salas, Colson Montgomery, Walter Jenkins. Dylan Cruz's ETA is 2024. This is off MLB.com top prospects. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, for him going there, considering the guys who went ahead, we already saw Jackson Holliday go off. Jackson Churio was a late keeper. Skeens already went. Caminero already went. Evan Carter went. Wyatt Langford went. So Dylan Cruz going there, and Lawler is 11 on this list. Right. I'm totally cool with Cruz there.
I mean, maybe he makes it this year. I don't know. I mean, they sent him down to AA, but maybe he makes the jump. So, well, I mean, we'll see.
There's no reason for them to call him up, but even if he stays, even if he is, waiting till next year, he's the who had to wait till next year in this year's draft. It doesn't really matter, but he could be worth it there as a 14th round if he starts the league next year. So I don't mind that. But anyway,
right.
One
more, Lodolo. I mean, after that start, I mean, it's hard to tell because he's coming off that major injury. But I mean, he sure looked good. So we're in the 15th round.
Yeah,
you got to take your shots.
Yeah, I agree.
I was very happy he fell to me.
100%. That's a really good upside there. 16th round. I'll start really quick. Really dislike the Whit Merrifield pick. I just don't understand. To me, he's brought in to be a utility guy. So he's going to be a utility guy. So I don't know what you expect, but so I hate that pick there because he should not have been drafted at all. Where else in there? I love the Bednar pick. I think the Bednar pick is great. I mean, he's an RP1 if he's not hurt. So obviously coming in with a lat pick is a little bit risky. Lat injury, I'm sorry, is a little bit injury. But the fact that, you're able to wait until the 16th round, now we're in the area that we can drop guys and it's not going to destroy our teams. Not like drafting Spencer Strider in the first and then him losing him, So Bednar there, he's one of the top 5 relievers off the board if he's not hurt, So I like those 2 picks. And there's a couple other guys in there, but what say you?
No, I agree. I like the Bednar pick and Noelve Marte as well.
Yeah, that's solid. I agree.
Kind of know what he's going to be, and I think he has a lot of upside too. And you're not waiting for him to get called up or anything. I think once he's back, he's got a starting job. I think they'll make room for him. I think they're all in on him. So I like that pick there.
Yep. Trace.
Harrison's good. That was good find there, Matt. You like back-to-back good pitching depth. So that was good.
The guy I wanted though was Gavin Williams.
Oh yeah, no, that was good too. I mean, it was. What's going on there?
You can't say it.
I can't see it.
Thank God.
I'll show you in round 20. I'll show you what happened.
Oh, okay.
Another Greek penis you're trying to show us?
I know.
Don't get so excited. You can't wait till round 20 to see that.
Yeah, was Gavin Williams hurt when we drafted?
Yeah, he was. So his thing was he was lifting weights or dropped a weight or something. So it was a non-structural damage to his elbow, but they had him. They knew he was going to miss the first couple of weeks. So
right. Yeah. But yeah, no, that's a good pick there too. I didn't think of much of it at the time, but Michael Garcia looks like that's a pretty good pick there.
Man, I wanted him late in every draft, and I got him in none. I had him last year. I picked him up in Saddle as like a late guy, and so he was on my target. But I felt that he would fall further in every single league, almost as like a last pick. At least in this round, this draft, like a last pick type guy. So yeah. All right, round 17. I'm sure we all hate at least one of these guys right off the bat.
Oh.
So anyone want to take the lead and pound into it or what?
I
think we're all probably going to starting with the same place.
All right, so ready? On the count of 3, we're all going to say the same player. Ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Kyle Gibson.
Kyle Gibson.
Oh, Kyle Gibson. Oh, I was going after Ethan Salas, but I like him as a prospect. But yeah, Kyle Gibson, I could see that too.
Yeah.
I mean, he shouldn't have been drafted.
That's right.
But whatever. So he's a fine MLB pitcher. If he was in the staff and he's a 4 or 5, you're fine with that. But I mean, I just don't know why there, what you expect from him. But okay, he's not on Baltimore anymore, so he's not going to have that advantage. But it is what it is. Ethan Salas, I don't disagree with that. I like him as a prospect. He is number 8 on the MLB top prospects, but he's super young. Right. I don't see a reason for him to even play next year. But I do think that
I think he's not 17.
Yeah, but I do think he was in spring training this year, and I do think that he probably sniffs MLB next year. MLB prospect list has him as showing up in 2025. He's 17. He's in high A ball right now. So
right, and it might wind up working. I just think it's early, and I think if you're going to take a shot with it, take it towards the very end of the draft. I don't think you need to take him. 17.
You could probably draft him here or later next year.
Right. Well, yeah, I think so.
Right. Yeah. So I agree with that. Then to be fair, that Vince has the luxury of having help from Gavin, which is great. I wish Regan could help me. And I know that Vince leaned on Gavin with some of these picks, and that's an awesome thing. He gives some love to the son, and son gets to play. Obviously, Gavin's still feeling his way out through prospects and players, so it's a good pick is in terms of like high upside prospect. The hard thing to feel out is like what round are they values, So
right. I just think it's early. I like the prospect, just don't like.
Yeah. I'm with you. I love the Cutter Crawford pick. I think that's a great pick.
Same here.
Yeah,
I wanted Crawford in one of these leagues, and I never was able to get him. But just he looks impressive, striking people out. I just think that's a good pick in the 17th round. Definitely a guy I was eyeing up.
Yeah, I agree. Anything else stick out?
I think, I mean, even though he goes late in every draft now, I think Springer there isn't bad. I mean,
it's true.
That's really good value there.
Springer or Castellanos?
Springer.
Right, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, but I could say that, but Castellanos was still a lot better than Springer last year. He wasn't good. Yeah, Springer wasn't good last year.
I think they're kind of the same. Like I kind of wait, like the wheels are gonna fall off any minute with these guys.
It's fair.
Yeah.
It's fair. It's a fair. I wouldn't say he
I
was
mean, other than
bad,
the
but he
20
wasn't
stolen
as good.
bases, which was out of the norm for Springer. I mean, he only hit 250, 72 RBIs, 20, not even a lot of runs, even though you're hitting at the top of that order. I mean,
Yeah.
he played 154, so he played almost every game, so it wasn't injury. He just didn't produce last year.
Wow, look at that average, man. He guys just like lives around 260.
Yeah. No, that's an interesting comp there. I can see that.
Yeah,
But no, it's a
But
good. It's a
would
good
probably,
pick there.
I mean, yeah, if I had the choice, I'd probably think that Springer's not as risky as Castellanos, but I think Castellanos had a better year last year.
No, that's fair. Yeah, he did. Okay, 18. Anything that you guys love or hate besides McClanahan? An amazing pick.
That was horrible. Now, obviously, Trevor Story was going to be my pick for winning that round, but
Yeah, I agree.
didn't pan out. Yeah.
That was my pick too. Trevor Story pick there was great.
Yeah, I'm not really into Story. I don't know.
But I mean, it was like Royce Lewis though. This was his year. He's healthy, right? And you just had like high expectations.
Maybe,
And then
but
the 18th
I don't know.
round.
I mean, I think even when he was healthy before, like he had that great start to his career, then I think he started trailing off before the injuries started coming. So I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm off. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he could have had a comeback this year, but I think he was starting to lose some of those abilities before he even started getting injured.
Yeah, I think that's all true. I think both can be true. I think he definitely wasn't going to be Trevor Story, but could he be? Let's just pick around. Could he be? Round 9.
Alec Bohm.
Oh, I mean, yeah, there you go. Much rather have Trevor Story.
Yeah, agree.
So in that sense, that's kind of where I get it. Yeah, nothing else I really dislike or love in here. I don't really care for the Brandon Drury pick, but whatever.
Yeah, we could just go through Barada's draft. We
Right.
keep highlighting everyone. I do like Prepio.
Prepio pick.
That was a good pick.
Yeah, I like that too. Rough side. Yeah, I'm with that. Yeah. I like Polanco. I think he was underrated, and I like the new team and system. All right, 19, couple keepers. I would say I love the Severino pick, and I know that's risky, but I think that just again, like, was he for obviously health is huge. Was he tipping pitches? If so, can he correct that? He's in a decent ballpark. So I think that has decent upside to it. But after that, there's nothing else I really totally love. I don't really like the Hector Neris pick there. But again, we're picking nits at that point. Let's say
I like the beat up guys really. I like the Scherzer, Williams picks there. Those are nice. Eloy could pan out. I mean, it just sucks the guy just can't stay healthy. But I thought,
although I got news, he's coming back.
Yeah, it's not as bad as they thought, but it's only for temporary, so don't get your hopes up.
He'll be good for a week. Come on, man.
Couple more weeks, and then he's grabbing that hamstring. We'll see what happens.
I won't get any starts from him, but he'll be all right. Yeah, I'm with you. Anything else in that round?
I like India a little bit, but I mean, coming into the year, we didn't know about playing time. Right? No, I know.
Right.
That's the thing, but
I
mean, he seems like when he's not hurt, he's a decent player.
Yeah,
so.
I agree. I feel bad. I think he gets pushed aside because he sucks at D. But he's got a decent bat. Round 20. Anything you love or hate? There's a couple guys in here that I have strong feelings about both ways. But what say you?
I think the Pascantino pick is great.
Yeah.
And considering
that's who I was trying to show you. He just hit a home run again.
Oh, was it? Yeah. Who cares?
He fell so far. I didn't even want him there. I mean, I wanted him there, but I was not even on my target. I just had to take him because it was stupid that he was still there.
But what round did Hoskins go? 16th or something like that. So I think
14th.
Right? They're
14th.
14th round. Yeah. Wow. So I mean, I think to get that, I think they're kind of similar players, right? They're probably going to have the same production.
I think
You know.
probably. I mean, I think they have similar upside, or maybe even Pasquantino has a little bit more. But but as far as like who's actually produced in their career so far,
Right.
Hoskins has actually done it and had good
Oh,
seasons
yeah.
before. Pasquantino is still kind of a question mark, so maybe that's the 6 rounds. But yeah,
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Yeah, but I was
Um,
happy he fell.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, I was surprised
was
he-
a great pick.
Yeah, surprised he lasted out there for so long, especially
Yeah.
with first base pretty much depleted at that point. I mean,
Right.
unless you wanted like Nate Lowe or somebody like that, but I wasn't in
Right.
on those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Rizzo, maybe it was Rizzo taken later too.
I think he goes a couple rounds, another like screen shot lower.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think that was a great pick.
yeah.
Jack Samaro is a pretty good pick
I agree.
for me too,
Yeah.
especially with a lot of the other rookies going a lot earlier.
Yep, I agree.
Right.
I mean,
he's
one of the
12th.
guys
He's
that came in and started right away.
MLB prospects. He's right under Jordan Lawler as the 12th prospect. So yeah, I mean, again, going back to value, way better value there. He's actually got a job.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Mick Bell. What's I don't know about that.
I don't get that. Like I get like we're a Phillies based team league. I don't understand like what's his upside? His upside, I mean, let's go down to the 24th round and find some prospects and pitchers in here. Why not take Ricky Tiedemann there?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Or Andrew Abbott, even though I'm not huge on him, but like Colson Montgomery. I just don't get like if Micah Bell comes up and pitches this year or is ready for next year, what do we expect from him? I'm asking rhetorically, but like we expect him to be an ace,
number 3,
a 3. I mean, I think 3 at highest. Like,
well, that's what I'm saying. As like your upside.
Yeah, Ranger Suarez, that'd be amazing if we're as a Phillies fan. That'd be great if it becomes Ranger Suarez. But so yeah, I don't get that pick. I do like the Alec Thomas pick. I think it's worth the upside, it's worth the risk. I like the Yonner Cano, I think mainly because I'm out on Craig Kimbrell, and we are no difference between saves and holds. So I think Cano has the upside for both of those. I like Lourdes Gurriel Jr. there. I feel he's super underrated again. Lourdes Gurriel in the 20th or Castellanos in the fucking round was that? The 3rd round? I don't even know. It doesn't matter. I don't even care what round. I'll still take Gurriel. Gurriel had a great he had a pretty good year last year, what do you have? 35 doubles, 24 homers, 82 ribbies, 65 runs. Yeah. I mean, for that round, considering Castellanos had better stats. Castellanos had better stats, but still, I'll take Gurriel there. But those guys stuck out a little bit to me.
Yeah.
Jumping in the next round, I really like the Stanton pick. Not that I love Stanton per se, but the fact that upside versus floor. Okay, so floor is you drop him. Upside is he hits 50 home runs.
Right, exactly.
So upside is he becomes Kyle Schwarber. I like that. I like the Chas McCormick I'm okay with. And the rest of the picks are fine. Nothing I really dislike in here.
Yeah, I agree. Same thing. Everybody kind of went where they should have gone, I think.
Yep. Friedel could be good. I mean,
yeah.
Which one, Friedel?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like sorry, you can go into that first.
No, 22nd.
No, I'm saying you can go into Friedel if you want. Sorry, I didn't.
No, that's it. Yeah, no, I like him. I mean, I get that he's hurt now, but nothing.
I was gonna say I like Nate Lowe there because
I do too.
Because he's gonna come in, he's gonna hit either 3rd or 5th or 4th for the Rangers. I mean, you can't beat that in the 21st round. He's not. I mean, he's almost back, so I mean, it's not that wait the long.
I was just a little. I had him last year in a few spots, and I was just a little disappointed, man. Yeah. Only because he came
down
off
from the year before.
Yeah, he played every game. He played 160. I mean, he plays every day, right? But he went from 302 to 262. He went from 851 to 775. The runs he actually went up. The hits he went down a little bit. Doubles he went up. That's cool. Home runs was a huge difference. 27 to 17. RBIs he went up actually. So I mean, it just was like I guess I expected at least the same. I felt like he was a little bit down, but that's still solid.
year over year it was down, but it's still 21st round, and
Right.
yeah,
I
it's
agree.
still great value.
Great lineup. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we got the last 3 rounds here, boys. Let's see if we can rock through it really quick. Matt,
Sure.
anything this round 22nd sticks out to you, love or hate?
No.
Okay.
I
Gerace?
have no notes.
There's too many
Yeah.
Phillies fans in this league.
Right. Yeah.
I
Andrew
like
Painter. Here
Andrew
we go,
Painter, but like
Yeah.
again, that's somebody you're going to be waiting for a long time, and who knows if he's going to be the same when he comes back. I mean,
Yeah.
he's probably out for the whole year, right? Or close to it.
I would assume so, or
I
close
think
to it.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again,
Yeah,
just
I
not
could
worth
see-
having there. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Like I could see
I mean,
him
not
getting
with
thrown back.
Tiedemann's sitting there. Like I loved
Right.
Painter last year. I had Painter in multiple leagues last year, but you're going to pick him over Tiedemann?
Right. I agree with you. Yeah. Yeah.
I think Spencer Jones is going to get dropped. I don't think he's going to stay on a roster all year.
Yeah.
You know.
How do you take Andrew Painter over Jackson Jobe? Yeah. Jackson
That's
Jobe,
very true.
23rd overall prospect on MLB
Yep.
Network, and I mean, but anyway, Painter 25th. Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's
But
that's
no, and
fine, that's fine.
all joking aside, like you could trade Jackson Jobe a lot more easier, probably maybe not in this league, but you could probably trade Jobe a lot easier than Andrew Painter, a couple months from
And
now.
he's not hurt. He doesn't have fucking Tommy
Yeah.
John surgery. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are some picks I really do like. I actually don't mind the Spencer Jones pick. I don't disagree with you, Matt. You probably have more insight than I do, being a Yankees fan. I like Jason Adam as far as we're a hold saves league. He could be just as good as a reliever taken in the 6th round, so he's sneaky pick there. The Rizzo pick I like because he could be as good as many first basemen there. He was great last year until he's got a fucking concussion.
Yeah.
Presley could be the same thing as Jason Adam, even though everything's a little bit down. Kelenic is a good high upside pick because what the fuck does he have to lose? Like if everything goes right in Atlanta can fix him. And this is even before I think he was considered to be a possible platoon with Adam Duvall, because I don't think they had picked up Adam Duvall yet. I like that. Nestor Cortez, I think that's worth it because hey, when he's good, he's good. And if he's not, then so what? You lose him. But if he's a number 3 pitcher, he can be really solid. And Jack Zawinski. I'm huge on Zawinski. I think he's as good as Kerry Carpenter. His splits are a little bit rough. It sucks just in Philly this year. This week, we saw him miss 3 out of the 4 games because we had 3 lefties go, or at least 2 lefties go. I apologize if I got that wrong. But if you look at his baseball savant, as we did before, the dude can fucking rake. And I think he hits 4th in the lineup for Pittsburgh when he plays. So that's my take on that round.
You could have Sawinski all day.
Right. Fair enough. Yeah. 22nd round is not so bad.
I'm in the middle on that between you two.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. 23rd, anything you like? I mean, besides Jackson Jobe, I know that's a great pick. Thank you so much.
That's the best pick of the draft. Oh my god.
I thank you.
No, I like the Jobe pick. I like Max Clark there. I think he could come up pretty.
That's a good pick. Yeah.
He's getting a lot of hype.
Max Clark is better than his Salas pick.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And not that I don't like Max Clark. I just think me and you, Jeff, got a better keeper in the next round.
I agree.
I was gonna get to those 2 guys too.
Yeah. But I don't want to jump to them yet. But I'm just saying, like, it's just what's on the board versus what you pick. So it could be good, but I think there was better keepers.
I think Max is a little bit closer than Walker Jenkins, but I think Walker Jenkins probably the better prospect. Yeah. But Max Clark is still pretty ranked pretty high up there. But yeah, I mean, it's just a flyer 23rd round. I like your next 2 picks in the 24th round better than Max Clark too. But I think it's a good pick there. Yeah. I don't know much about Bryce Terang, but he seems to be doing pretty well.
He's having a great start.
Yeah. I kind of like that one as well.
Yeah. I like the Taj Bradley. I think he actually dropped him, right, Gerace? You had to come to some choices there.
Did I got
that might have been another league.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I might have. I might still have him in this one.
Yeah, but I mean, it's worth a shot there, right?
Yeah.
Because his upside's worth it. But I mean, obviously he's a keeper, but Cherry was a fucking great pick there.
Yeah, I mean that's the
right.
I mean, right now
that
even though I don't rank Churio as high as Jackson or Langford or some of the other rookies. I mean, he's still like high up there. I mean, but that's still right now like the cream of the crop. I mean, I got Rodriguez a couple rounds earlier, and you have Witt a couple rounds earlier than that. So, but like as far as how late this is, I mean, right now, I mean, if he pans out, that's going to be the keeper to have in this league.
Like, I assume you would trade. Obviously, you're not going to answer me here, but you would trade Jackson Holiday
Jackson Chourio hit a
in
home run?
the 11th for
Oh.
Chourio in the 23rd.
I will, yeah, of course.
Right. Okay. Fair.
Because to be frank, even though I took Holiday there, I'm not necessarily like what I said earlier, where once they get in the single digits, I'm not necessarily love keeping people. So I might not even keep Holiday. It might be I just think he's going to have that good of a year. Like when he gets going, I think he's going to have a really good year this year, or maybe he's trade bait or something. I don't know. So I might not even keep him from there. So yeah, I would definitely, Matt, I would make that swap.
I'm setting it up for you boys.
All right.
I'll consider
Yeah, that's fair.
it.
Okay, so bringing it into anything else anyone has to say on that round? Savali's a pretty solid pick, I would say.
Yeah.
For where it is.
Mhm.
24th. Anything? Some good picks. I do that, Matt. I love your Moreno pick. I think that's a great pick. Going back to catchers, would I rather have Moreno in the 24th or Real Muto in the 3rd? Fucking Moreno in the 24th all day long, value wise.
Yeah. He's off to a slow start, but yeah, I kind of agree.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I like it. Moreno's great.
Yeah. I loved all the rookies taking the last round of the draft. I think DeLauder's a stud. I think Jenkins, hearing a lot of really awesome things about Jenkins, and Tiedemann as well. Tiedemann's a little wild right now, but I don't think he's probably as polished as Jones or Skeens or
Job.
who's the other guy? Yeah, Jackson something.
Yeah, Jackson
so
Job. Yeah.
But I like in the last round. I think that's a great pick.
Yeah.
And Colson Montgomery too. Don't sleep on him.
Oh yeah, that's a great one.
He's really
I like that too. Yeah, I like that too. Especially for that team where they could use that spot.
Yeah.
So
sweet.
Let me do some bold predictions about that last.
Yeah.
Like I know in back-to-back drafts, I pick Walker Jenkins, then you immediately pick Chase DeLauder.
Did it work out that way?
It did, yeah.
That's funny. That's funny.
And I know from one of your previous podcasts that a bunch of you said you liked DeLauder more than Jenkins, which I like DeLauder too, or whatever. I'm higher on Jenkins, obviously, because I took him ahead of DeLauder. Bold prediction, not so bold prediction. By mid-season, Walker Jenkins will be the #1 prospect.
Ooh, okay. All right. So
that's the not bold one. The bold prediction is he's going to have the same. He's gonna fly right through the minor leagues like Jackson Holiday, Wyatt Langford. He's gonna have that same kind. I mean, he's hurt right now, so that's not really like helping that case. But I think he's gonna have that like quick ride through the minors.
All right. So I'm only going by MLB.com top 100, right? So that way it's just neutral. Jenkins currently is the 10th prospect in A ball, expected to be here in 2026. He's 19 years old. And let's see, DeLauder is 29th in Double A, expected to be here in 25, and is 22. I don't necessarily know if I agree with that, but that's fine.
No, DeLauder I think has a shot to make it up this year.
Yeah.
I think Jenkins has a nice path to playing time just because of look at the options and in the outfield for the Twins. It's like Buxton. Okay. If he stays healthy, great. Wallner, who I think is pretty much going to lose his job probably sometime this year. And then who do they have? Austin Martin now starting in left field. So yeah, I don't think there's a lot of competition or things standing in Jenkins' way.
Yeah, and he's young and he's in Single A, but I mean, I think with that kind of talent, I think he's going to fly through.
Yeah, everything I hear about him is just his hit tool is insane. He's really.
Because Kepler's hurt. That's why. Right. Wow, they have Lewis, Correa, and Kepler hurt. Like the top 3 of the top 4 hitters in their lineup. 3 of the top 5. I like the Twins. but yeah, I mean, I guess right. That's the key to both those guys. Like, what positions or what openings do they have? So yeah, I don't disagree with like there's an opening there between Wallner, Martin, and Buxton being injured. Yeah, that's true. I feel the same way about the Lauder with Cleveland. Is it like who's he have to beat out? He has to beat out Tyler Freeman, Laureano. He's not going to beat out Quan. So it's basically those two or Florial. I mean, come on, he should be fucking playing now.
Yeah, he should be. Yeah.
I get it. Like they have who's hurt there. No one really worthwhile. That motherfucker's going to be up and playing.
He will.
No, sorry, go ahead, Matt.
No. I mean, it's all service time with the Indians too. They're trying to save as much money as they can.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, I 100% expect the Lauder to be up before Walker Jenkins. I just think Walker Jenkins is going to be that next level player.
Yeah,
I could see.
And Delato's going to be a good player. I just don't think he's going to be like.
I can see it. I remember when Nolan Jones was like the big guy coming out of Cleveland, and didn't work out. So,
well, give it some time.
Same thing, same thing could happen with the Lauder. Throwing it out there.
Well, what do you think? I think we're pushing 2.5 hours. I think we covered it pretty well. Anything else we want to jump into? I would say bold predictions. If we went back to the draft itself, anything you have feelings on that?
Yeah, for bold prediction, just for this league, I picked. I think the Pie Tasters. I think are going to win it all.
All right, let's take a look at that.
I think they're going to play either Utley's F Bombers or Gerace in the championship.
Okay. All right.
But I think the Pie Tasters have a good squad.
I wouldn't disagree with that. Let me just take a quick look. So, Alvarez a catcher, Encarnacion Strand at first, Boots at Boots, Betts, Riley, Crew. Wow, yeah, pretty solid team with a solid bench, and pitching is obviously going to be a big part of it. The tricky part about this league with pitching is that because it's so shallow, you almost become more reliant on your relievers. I feel like, but
yeah,
I mean, because how many starters does he have? Luzardo, Bybee, Eflin, King, Savali. He's got 6. All right, that's fine. Yeah, all decent.
But I think that's if he's going to struggle at all, it's going to be with the pitching because he doesn't have a solid starter base. But yeah, I mean, he could get by if his relievers are good enough.
Yeah, I agree. So here we have Raleigh, Alonso, Merrifield, McMahon, Pena, Soler, Judge, Velasquez, Kirk, Walker. Yeah, it's solid. Bregman, who's hurt, Cabrera, who's a pickup, Martinez, who hasn't played, Rooker. A lot of guys injured so far. Most of those guys were expected. Like Edmund was hurt when we drafted. I think Wisdom was hurt when we drafted, possibly. I forget there, but I like his staff. I mean, I do like his staff because you got Wheeler, Gosman, both top. Snell, Musgrove. Yeah. Well, Gosman was a keeper. Yeah.
Oh, he was. Oh, he was a keeper.
Yeah. Yeah. So all those guys are top. Yeah. And if Javier can bounce back, no, that's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Who was the other team you said there, Matt?
I think it's going to be between Gerace, Pie Tasters, and Utley's F Bombers.
And Gerace's team is all right. So Henry Davis, a catcher. You have a back, Garver. I like that.
Oh God, you're not even starting an outfielder. Oh man, I gotta change that.
Oh shit.
Vlad, Gorman.
I think it's because Suzuki got hurt.
Oh yeah.
So I think I didn't have anybody to put in there.
You already at your max pickup.
Well, you shouldn't have fucking picked up Mackenzie Gore, motherfucker. You would have had some. You woke up.
Suzuki wasn't hurt yet.
You woke up. Well, you shouldn't have woken up at 6 o'clock. You should have been like me, woken up at 9, and you would have had an outfielder, and I would have had Mackenzie Gore.
I was like, I'll trade. It's going to be fine. I'll wait another week before I start getting that, and then.
I got Eloy. You want Eloy? I'll trade you Eloy for Mackenzie Gore.
He already has a broken outfielder.
It's kind of fair. Eloy's back today, baby.
I'll think about it.
I like the pitching. Yeah, you got a lot of pitchers, goddamn.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, I love Gilbert. I like Imanaga. I like Webb. Yeah,
I don't sleep on Garrett Crotchet either.
No, I know. Yeah. Yeah, that's solid.
Yeah.
All right, I dig it. I dig it. I like it.
Okay.
I didn't write down any bold predictions, so rather than just kind of try to fake it before I make it, I'll just won't fake it. Yeah, nothing particular I have to add to it. Anything else that we missed? I think we got it, boys.
I think I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah, good shit.
It was a good start.
Yeah, sweet. So obviously we can do, this again to some degree, whether it's like mid-season or postseason or something like that. But I had fun. I love doing this stuff. So
Yeah.
I'll stop record. We'll chat for a minute and go from there. So give me one
Yeah.
second here. Boo-doo-boo-doo-boo. And now